Yeah, or drinking.
Both? There's nothing better than a glass of wine and a book. Let's be real.
So,
More like a keg.
A keg of
Since-
wine?
since last time we've played, I have gone through and I have populated the city with various faces and NPCs that are of relevance to the city. Some of them you will recognize. Some of them are simply visitors.
Ew, we've got a preacher. Ugh.
Some of them are some of them will be being people of important note and key assets. As you can see, all the PCs have been highlighted in blue for your convenience. Your allies and court members, your immediate allies, so yeah, permanent allies with you, are all in green. And then the remaining cast are currently all in white.
What about the
any pulsing orange will have a situation we'll have to resolve later in session.
Ah, okay.
But they are situations that may require the PC's attention in session.
Gotcha.
I've also revisualized for you guys some of the resources the council has access to, though we're still not in full council mode at the moment. But at the top, you can see the red bar for showing you the unrest of your realm. Try not to have a revolution happen. Would be a shame if you guys ended up on peasant bikes.
Huh.
Like
to
to
see them
try.
So government and exiles are never fun. The wealth tracker, which is it's not an exact track of gold, but it's more a it's a representation of how full your treasury is.
An arbitrary donation of.
Yes. Right now, I will tell you, you do not have a lot in the treasury. There was quite a lot spent on a certain bill.
Bill?
What? Who spent all our money? Who could have done this?
Who spent the money? Was it you, Aminus?
What?
You're always greedy.
I am very frugal.
I've seen your bar tab.
Look, Silver Swift got quite the invoice. And in the top right is a representation of the combination of like mana and magical power at the disposal of the group. If the group ever needs to suddenly unleash magical fury upon something.
So that's a magical potential, as in like mana crystals wise.
If the group needed to do a ritual, it's a combination of like mana crystals and just also like available power from your like court.
Okay, yeah, I can understand. We've got a decent power level really for that.
Your base in that each month is set by your Magister, which is a level 3 Magister in your case.
Yes.
Oh, that's me, isn't it? Oh no, that's
Magister's Makara.
That's Makara, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wonderful.
Level 3 out of 5 on the council, so not bad.
Yeah.
Your base income for the treasury is determined by your treasurer. Though both of these can be modified by buildings and events and so on and so forth. And unrest is just something you want to keep down, so they represent people unhappy. Don't be unhappy.
So it's very important to me. Is 1 the minimum, or can this last red dot that is staring at my soul be removed?
You can be on 0 of a resource, including unrest.
1 unrest is unacceptable.
It's not enough. There's just too much.
Need to keep arresting people.
There is mild panic among the people.
Mild panic. Just a slight.
I'll accept out the true feelings and says there's not enough unrest.
I'm chaotic,
I
I will tell you that one panic comes from the fact that there have been a few like sightings like giants out in the hills and such.
Oh, okay.
Has some of your people spooked?
Alright, just stay within the cozy, warm walls of Sorkai and you'll be fine.
It was reported when you went to the mine of Persephone that there had been sighting of some of the giants and their animals.
But that's fine. You know what we can get from there?
Giants and beasts.
Know what we can get from there? No?
Giants are like Skaven. They don't exist.
They don't exist.
I mean, if you want to solve the unrest by making a smear campaign saying giants don't exist, you're free to.
Yeah, it's fake news. Anyone?
I feel you might as well just say elves don't exist at that point.
I mean, have you ever seen an elf? No.
Have you ever seen an ASMR? Pfft. No, they're not real.
Excuse me.
They're not real.
That's heresy.
Yes, last time the group went through though and resolved a number of decisions, such as there was a group of artists in the city who wanted to build some kind of establishment. The group allowed them to build a brothel.
Of course, artists want to build a brothel. Like
the strip club and brothel, known as Belcora's Dance Hall, is located in the market.
To be fair to the artists, they had other suggestions too, but the brothel seemed to be the most useful to us.
You could have had an art shop. You could have had some of them try. You could have had some of them try doing revamping of the museum.
That's fine, you know. All right.
In addition,
museums aren't supposed to be out there history.
In addition, a statue of Aminus has suddenly appeared in one of the squares.
I recall that.
We figured that out.
Oh yeah, who was it?
One of the now burgeoning thieves guilds in the city.
Oh, they did that.
The Spy Master's territory.
Why would they do that? Seems weird, but all right.
Little bit of a stunt, I believe.
It's not in the message that they can do it, and they're here.
In addition, Persephone, against the wish of the Raiden, petitioned to the court to have a workshop inside of the city built. The group allowed her.
Yep.
Inside the city?
Yes.
The first time it blows up, however, she's out.
Her workshop also will double as a store selling basic alchemical things to the guard, such as healing potions.
Right.
But there is a chance it might explode.
You sound so skeptical.
I'm always
Well,
skeptical.
She knows what happens if it explodes, and she's out at that.
I mean, we put her directly across from Torrent and right beside of river, so
Yes.
maximized success.
Finally, the party had a bit of a meeting with Lady Mazara and her brother, which got resolved relatively easily. And
we killed them. No, I'm kidding.
They are not at this time dead.
Excellent, Spy Master. Excellent.
The problem has been handled.
I enjoy your work.
Should we deal with Halldamir's decision on that now before we move on,
Or has it been dealt with?
Is there a I've dealt with it.
It has not been dealt with.
It's not been.
Oh. You get a feat.
I got
maybe.
a feat? What? Alright, just start from the beginning, Dark.
So Lady Mazara, as thanks for basically completing her request before, assisting with rescuing her brother, and not simply beheading her.
Sure.
Which some of you seem like you were wanting to do for a while.
Yes.
Has offered her services to become the group's first possible out-of-class trainer.
Interesting.
Offering a variety of options to the party in things that they can have trained.
Okay.
You could gain, for example, training in one of the skills she has expertise in, such as insight, intimidation, or investigation.
Okay. Pretty cool.
She could teach you a new cantrip.
Okay.
If you're not a spellcaster, it will rely on your intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
She could teach you a feat such as ritual caster.
Oh.
I took advantage of that.
In addition, her brother also volunteered to, more got forced to volunteer. And he's also able to teach things. They're also both able to teach various feats. Lady Mazara is able to teach the dueling combat style. Karen was able to teach the defensive combat style and the sentinel feat. Karen is also able to give if someone wanted a eldritch invocation, could potentially get that if they wanted to sign a pact with him and his patron. Or Lady Mazara alternatively could can potentially just teach you an additional spell known from her arsenal.
Her arsenal isn't as cool as mine. Okay. I mean, that's really interesting because Ritual Caster in 5e gives you access to spells. Like, it doesn't just use your spell list for spontaneous casters. Because it says, like, verbatim, when you choose this feat, you acquire a ritual book holding 2 first-level spells of your choice.
Yes, they can. To my understanding, they can only be used as your
As the
ritual form.
rituals, yeah. And then the process of copying a spell with the ritual tag into a ritual book takes 2 hours per level of spell and 50 gold points. So that's,
basically, you can copy rituals into the ritual book.
That's really useful. Does it have to be? Yeah, it has to be the class's spell list.
I think it was also the limitation that because Mazzara is teaching you, you can only pick from the wizard list.
I mean, that's
Which she
fine
has.
because it's also like it says that you have to. The class that's chosen determines your spellcasting ability for them. So, thankfully,
yeah,
my
it's great.
intelligence is just as high as my charisma now. So, that's wonderful.
Two of our party members did not have the option for some of these things because their intelligence scores were too low to learn magic from her. But
And they went with the
it's fine. They generally went with more beating stuff with her brother.
I have
Yeah.
14 intelligence, so I can. Well, I mean, most rituals don't have a DC. They mostly just do things. So
Yes.
I took it because it's always going to be useful for me regardless.
You have the option, of course, to also select one of these options to be trained in.
Yep.
It's up to you if you want one of the skills, or if you want the ritual caster, or if you want a spell known or a cantrip known.
Ritual caster would be incredible. Yeah.
If that's what you want, you can sit down with Vickers and start getting lessons.
God damn it! I wanted to keep it a secret to surprise you later. But
Oh,
I
you
guess
can't keep you can't keep it a secret from me.
Well, he wanted to impress you later.
You impress her all the time, Vickers.
Ah, well.
Yeah, you can totally go ahead though and start undergoing training for that. You can add it to your sheet now, but yeah, you're undergoing training for it.
Okay. Oh man,
add
that's
an extra feat in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Go to extras. Sorry, wrong. Go features and traits, feats, and then manage feats, and you can add one freely.
Oh, what not in the character builder, in the actual thing?
On your actual sheet, yeah. I don't know how to do it in the character builder, but on your actual sheet you can just add one.
Oh, you can just add it. Oh, cool.
However, it doesn't seem to like have any. Like I added it, but I can't seem to select any like rituals or whatever.
So we can always do the deal with the rituals on the actual rituals on here. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you could always. No. Oh, whatever. We could figure it out. Sure.
Yeah.
What's also funny for the two of you is, technically speaking,
we can copy off each other.
Also, Vickers was getting additional help from your apprentice Charlotte because she has ritual caster.
Yeah, because I'm like dumb, so I was like, I need someone who knows how to do this to like ritual casting for dummies. And she was like, hey, I'll teach you as well.
I think Makara is the only one with an intelligence score that can keep up with mine.
Maybe
Does she have
I get your
ritual caster? She's got ritual caster, surely.
She's
a wizard.
She has the ability to cast rituals innately.
Yeah.
It's more she's smart enough to just do it anyway, so she doesn't need the fee.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I can, but because I think sorcerers can cast rituals.
Sorcerers do not get it for free.
Don't they? But I just avoided all ritual spells because
it's clerics and wizards I think who get it for free.
I thought it was.
No, sorcerers can't do rituals, unfortunately.
Wow, it's fine because it's just.
Yes, you can go ahead and begin your training for that then.
Okay.
Which will be fun.
Yep.
A few days are passing. A few days have passed for your characters, though, already at this point. There is a lot to manage in the city, a lot of affairs to get in order. You have received word that in a couple of days' time, you're not sure exactly how many, but judging by the time it took the letter to get you, maybe it's less than a week. It's going to be. The Duchess of the Silver Isles will be arriving.
Oh, okay, cool.
The few servants you have been vigorously trying to get the new emissaries' quarters cleaned out and prepared for her arrival.
Have we a working dock that isn't like disintegrating?
Not really.
Should we maybe do that?
Send out the troops to just shuffle the snow out of the way and make like a snow road up, maybe.
Like a road.
We have some laborers, right?
You could send out troops and laborers to try and clear out like an unburied road for them. It's pretty miserable work, but you could order it.
I think we need to. We can't really expect. Is that, or we pick her up with like a sled or something?
I think we need to start doing it. Like otherwise,
like a Lion Witch in the Wardrobe style. Something like that.
Yeah, we should. We knew she was coming, right? We should be a bit considerate.
Yeah. We should have that done.
It won't do to have what we suspect is a dragon, like just see something like squalor,
It's backbreaking work, but they could be happy knowing that this road they make is going to be traversed by some of the most famous people in the land. So
this is going to be an awesome traversal.
Yeah, I would say yes. We should do that if no one disagrees.
Yeah.
By roll decree.
Okay. So you're going to go ahead and clear that out. Which actually, I'm going to need a dice roll from someone.
Sure. What you need?
Anyone? You want to do it, Valky?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Because we're going to do a roll on the behalf of one of your counselors.
Oh no. Okay, who is it?
You're doing this in this case on the behalf of Lady Eliza as counselor to try and keep the people calm about doing such a menial, basically freezing to death out in the snow.
I feel these people are very entitled.
All right, Eliza, let's do this. What do I need to roll? D20?
It will be 1d20 plus her charisma, which I have to go look up.
Okay.
No, her charisma was good though because she is just naturally really charismatic.
Yeah.
Eliza, where are you? There you are. Her charisma of 3, and then her additional bonus for diplomacy, which puts an extra 1 on that, so that comes out as +4.
No proficiency.
Proficiency don't get added to these. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. So 1d20 plus 4. Yes.
Yep.
20.
Yay.
I mean, it's miserable work, but she's good enough with the people that it might be miserable work. They might not be happy doing it, but it doesn't affect their loyalty to you.
Okay, great.
They'll do it.
Good work.
You receive no unrest, and you do clear, and they will be able to clear the road before the arrival.
Sweet. All right.
For now, at least, it might get snowed back in. At a later date, but there's a different problem.
Yeah, we can figure that out later. It's just for now. All right. Next order of business.
You did mention, of course, also building a dock.
Yes.
I mean, if we have the time, yes.
We have time.
You can't. You would no way it would be able to be finished in time, but you could start construction. Up to you. And you don't have a lot in the treasury.
If it's not going to be done before she gets here, there's no point. So, I think that's fine.
You can put it off for now if you want to.
Yeah, we'll put it off. There might be some other things that are urgent coming up that we need capital for. So,
just need more money.
Just need more money.
I didn't mean to do that.
Corn is superior to that paperwork.
So yeah, it's just showing your superiority. I mean, look, I see it every day. It's fine.
No, I thought I was on Push to Talk and also on TeamSpeak apparently, so I clicked 2. I Push to Talk there. Anyways, no, I was gonna say a project to permanently keep like a road to the city free of snow might be something for Persephone over here and her alchemist file.
Heated roadway.
Yeah.
Or like like salt, it melts the snow so it doesn't like snow over again. Surely she can come up with something.
Alchemist salt.
Alchemist salt. Like I know how that works, but obviously my character doesn't. But I'm just saying maybe she knows that herself.
Gritting roadways in bulk.
Yeah, just that one though. For now.
It's something she can look into to see if that's viable for what you've got right now.
All right, we'll hold off on the dock for now as well.
Very well. Yes, that will happen in a few days' time. You have a few days, of course, before then that you can prep things as well as address any other issues in your city that you may want to before her arrival.
Okay.
After all, she'll be seeing your city for the first time, getting its first impression.
Oh, Persephone's workshop blows up just as she walks past, I bet.
As I mentioned before, there are a number of NPCs on the map, some of which are now flashing, as you can see.
Yeah,
there are various situations that you may want your attention. The most notably, some examples, is a wood elven tribe has seemingly showed up and just set up camp outside the walls.
Oh.
Damn vagabonds.
And the chiefess has come to greet the local rulers. You can literally just chuck her out if you so desire, but
let's have a chat.
Other than that, there's apparently a group of sellswords who have gathered outside the city walls, and are offering escort services to all the travelers.
Okay.
Are they sanctioned by us? Is this?
They are not your sellswords.
All right. So it's a extortion racket outside our gates.
They would not say it's extortion. They're saying they're doing protection.
That is definitely something that Torren will check out personally. Like, inspect these people. If they're offering genuine, like, bodyguard services, then that might be discussable. But if they're doing what we think they're doing, then that's not tolerable.
There is a preacher who has been by the fountain preaching day and night for the last couple of days. Some gospel of an unknown god.
An unknown god.
Unknown god. Where's our sage?
In addition, there has been whispers and rumors around it about a tabaxi merchant getting around the markets.
Okay.
In addition, Lady Eliza would like to speak with some of you.
Sure.
May resolve these in any order you so choose.
Well, okay.
Or ignore any of them.
Does anyone have like an overwhelming urge to do something right now? With something?
Yes.
All right. Let's do that
Self-thought extorting people outside my city, like, how dare you? But maybe they're legit. Torren definitely is the kind of person who could sniff out any evil, mischievous, whatever they are doing without a problem.
How dare you without a license?
Does Torren ask for anyone, or is he doing this himself?
This seems very much like a one thing. He's gonna maybe like send off a messenger to, like, you know, where Aminus and Vickers are stationed, just saying that he's gonna take care of this, so you can interpret that as you will.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll trust him to take care of it.
And then Torren will, like, grab two of his guards just to have two people to flank him and look even more imposing before he goes out and talks to those people.
Very well. As Torren heads outside, you can see the rather large number of sellswords out there. There's quite a few of them. Who have very much made themselves at home outside of the walls, bantering and being somewhat rowdy in general. Though they seem to be friendly enough and complying with your guards when they ask them to do anything.
How many are we talking? Like half a dozen, 2 dozen?
About a dozen.
Okay, that is a few. If Torren takes a look at like their general behavior, does it seem like the sort of jovial atmosphere you would expect from like a mercenary company, or more like just a bunch of rowdy thugs? Like how much discipline is there around, basically?
Do they have an application desk, or do they just walk up to anyone passing, be like, "Hey, you need protection"?
Do they seem to have a hierarchy?
There does appear there is a hierarchy, clearly, but it does appear they appear very loosely banded. Like they look like they're trying to make themselves into like a professional looking group, but they're clearly not one. But they're trying to make themselves a professional looking one. they're a little too relaxed, a little too just kind of joking around. They have set themselves up a desk, and there is someone who keeps heading out to the road, you notice, and speaking with travelers, trying to encourage them to opt to buy their services. You can listen in on said conversations if you're so interested.
Oh yeah, Torrin will totally and very not subtly at all go far too close and eavesdrop.
With 2 guards in tow. More or less, the conversation as you hear it goes essentially has... Torrin's pretty damn good at insight, let's be honest. You can give me a roll if you would like. We'll see exactly.
I absolutely do want to roll dice. That is why I'm here. 25.
Oh my.
It's a... Torrin's impression has... You don't think they are outright extorting people. You don't think they're, at least from the best you can tell, and you're fairly certain of yourself, admittedly. You don't think they're doing anything like, protection racket. You must pay us, or else we'll make sure there's trouble on the road. But they do definitely appear to be using scaremongering tactics of like, well, there's been giants in the area. Have you heard about that? It'd be dangerous to go alone. Using all the little rumors and stuff that the peasants like whisper back and forth as basically trying to hard sell people on like, you need protection or else you're going to die.
No.
But it doesn't look like they're causing the trouble themselves.
Basically, they're exploiting the
fear,
so to speak. Yeah.
All right.
So they do appear to be offering legitimate bodyguarding, just perhaps forcing people into it.
What do their prices seem to be like? No exact like gold piece value, but just are they really high? Are they?
I couldn't give you an exact gold piece value. It's not exceptionally high. It's actually about right. It's about the right price you'd expect for bodyguard services for that kind of duration of trip. They don't appear to be overcharging, not yet at least.
Are they good? Like if Torn, sizes them up with his observation skill that he has.
It's not just observation skill. I literally have a class feature.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
Knowing your enemy, well, they're certainly not elite soldiers by any means. I mean, they're not plain out rookies. They're undisciplined, but it looks like everyone there clearly has some basic combat experience. Some of them you read as like being ex-soldiers. Some of them probably just old like bouncers, probably before, from your best guess. But they look like they all know how to handle themselves at least, even if they're not very disciplined about it.
All right.
You do think you could take any individual one on in a fight?
Yeah.
Some of them do have fighter class levels. I'll let you know. But not many.
I think Torrin has had enough here. He will go up to their desk, or to whoever looks most important, one of the two.
I mean, you can head up to their desk. There is one of the mercenaries there currently chatting to someone. Though his eyes immediately kind of turn as soon as he hears like your boots and looks over. As he seems to shut up for a second, seeing Torrin.
Torrin will let the silence linger for a second before he says, "All right. Does your group here have a name?"
Not exactly. We've been trying to think one up. New group, you understand, takes a while to get everything established.
I understand. That is exactly why I'm here, you getting established. As far as I can tell, there are two possibilities for you. Number one, I drive you away for your basically borderline extorting, scaring, and causing fear among those who travel these roads, and I'm not a fan of that. Option two, I assist you in making this more official. I do not think that offering bodyguard duties to these travelers is a bad idea at all in the slightest. You are not particularly well trained as far as I can tell, but you have potential. In return, of course, you will be working under me, and you will stop actively scaring the people. I will make sure that you have enough employ by simply encouraging people to look out for their safety instead of telling them that a giant can eat them at any moment.
You quietly mutter under his breath something the lines of, "Oh, it's true."
So those are your two options. Either you leave now, this very second, or you work under me. With my rules.
Could you give me an intimidation roll?
I can. It's not that scary as it turns out.
You see, given your authority and your position as warden, I will let you have advantage on that.
Sure. You know, he speaks very deliberately, which maybe doesn't get the point across quite as frighteningly as
I think
his like a frame would suggest.
I think his problem is that he's so reasonable.
It's true.
Yeah.
They kind of look at Torin. Sigh a little bit, kind of looking among themselves. Yes. Guys, hello. You okay? Wait for a moment.
I'll give you an hour to make your decision.
He nods. As the group seems to go off to discuss their options. Does Torin wait there the entire hour, or does Torin leave them to return an hour later?
Torin stands there like a statue. He's not bothered by the cold.
True, you're one of the few people who are. That's not an issue. You don't really get a direct response from them. More or less the effect of, after a while of talking and a lot of disgruntled noises, you see some of them starting to pack up their tents. And it appears they have decided to take the option of they're just going to leave.
All right.
Need to keep an eye on them if they start doing banditry.
They might. But at least this thoroughly grey and questionable situation may resolve in this being very black and white.
Mm-hmm. It's we're all for entrepreneurship and stuff, but you know, there are some best practices that I feel they need to follow, and just hanging out outside the gates, asking like, "Hey,
did you know that a giant can eat you at any moment?
Yeah.
Have you ever been bitten by a wolf? It's not acceptable. If they want to leave and maybe turn to more questionable methods, Torin tried. Like he offered them employ. They didn't take it. Their choice.
I honestly feel that if they had just handled this a bit more smoothly, just you know, if they hung around the bar and talked to travelers that way, we wouldn't really have reacted. But the fact that they set up like a literal shop outside the gates, that's
It's like selling stuff without a permit, right? You kind of can't do that. You should.
Yeah, when you're that brazen, you're gonna get some attention.
Maybe they've learned a lesson in how to advertise their services for next time.
We'll see.
That situation is resolved. There has been no change to overall unrest or money.
All right. I mean, that was pretty good resolution, I think. All right, let's talk to these wood elves. That's what I want to do.
Sure.
You are free to come.
The group has been informed that, of course, about the wood elves showing up.
Yeah, I think I'll join you in that. Honestly,
Refresh me again. What's the relationship between the high elves, the wood elves, and the blood elves precisely?
There is very little to understanding of formal relations per se. The wood elves are probably the most friendly ones with the high elves out of anyone, but that doesn't really say much given how much the high elves isolated them from most humans.
Sure.
There's no like formal alliances or anything, and even the wood elves aren't really too well organized among themselves, being mostly very isolated groups of nomadic tribes for the most part, moving around. A couple of them have settled down in key locations, but others just travel from place to place.
Do we like wood elves?
I mean, Zed was one. I think wood elves are pretty nice in general.
There are the occasional stereotypes that come up, or given their travelers and the way they are, that some people accuse them of being thieves or vagabonds, or pillaging the land of valuable game and such that they could have hunted.
Sure.
But generally speaking, they don't cause too many. To your understanding, they don't actually cause too many issues.
They're not. They don't sacrifice people for evil blood rituals or anything like that.
Not typically. As for relations with the wood elves, the blood elves, you'd have no idea.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah, Valky, I'd love to join you with that. I mean, I feel like it's very much a diplomat.
Yes.
Thing.
It's something any members of the group can join if people want to join regarding meeting with the chiefess.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I feel like this concerns me too. I'll at least observe. With I, of course, mean Torrent.
That scary giant form in the background leaning against the wall.
The flashing shadow.
Oh God!
In the top there.
Whiteness. I don't know what that was.
So white.
I mean, it makes sense as a whole. It makes sense that the captain of the guard might want to know about people camping outside the walls.
Mm.
I will do something else. I think, unless I will, be specifically required, and I'm sure you can call me if that happens.
You can go scream at that preacher or something.
This is beyond the king's purview.
Blech.
Didn't you know the king is racist against elves?
He's not. Yeah, we've been over this. Given his kingdom's history with the elves, he is naturally suspicious of most elves.
For the those of you who choose to go meet her, the chiefess can be found politely waiting in a small side room that has been opened by your servants. She's been served some tea. It looks like she is sitting there politely in these very fine, very earthy-looking robes. She has this like gnarled staff that's laid down on the table before her, but just far enough to be out of her immediate reach. To your understanding, she apparently refused to relinquish the staff fully when asked.
That's fine. I think we could take her.
I'd like to think that when Vickers is in the city doing diplomatic stuff, he's probably wearing his formal attire. So he doesn't look, because his appearance is generally intimidating and imposing, and so when it comes to matters of diplomacy, and he's not expecting a combat situation, he'll probably slip into them. Might as well get the use out of them.
Ferris always looks great. She doesn't need to wear stuff other than beautiful gowns. Traveling attire.
Going for your Ice Queen look as normal, I take it.
Yeah.
Torrent doesn't have different clothing.
He's just got
There's
armor.
no reason to not. Yeah, I mean, in what possible situation would he not want to have his armor?
I totally agree. Absolutely. There's no need for him to have anything but armor.
This is my armor in social situations. So.
Ceres literally conjures her own armor, so.
The chief politely, and as all of you enter into the room, though as you enter, she does stand from her seat. She does stand from her seat slightly. She remains. She kind of just her eyes dart over each of you, clearly, perhaps trying to take an assessment of you as much as you're probably wanting to assess her.
Vicus will give a slight head bow and say, Chiefess, you are welcome to Sorkai.
Kinesse, thank you. It's quite the different locale. Quite the chill in the air.
Rather cold
Yeah.
beyond the mountains.
I expect that you are quite new to these parts then. Have you moved recently?
Our tribe travels far in search of new places to settle down. We heard of a new city being born and wanted to see the story for ourselves.
Ah, well. You are welcome to ask whichever you wish, unless you have a pressing question or demand from us.
We are simply here to request formal permission to hunt and graze upon your lands, as well as bring gift.
Gift? Tell me more.
The king's head pops around the corner.
The door swings open.
Someone say gold.
I was summoned suddenly.
The magic words were spoken.
Door shuts in his face. Like Vicus just kicks it shut.
What? How dare you, sir?
Okay.
She will reach from her bag and pull out something that's been very carefully wrapped and place it upon the table with the little dining room you're in, and unwrap it.
All right.
Fine cloth and potions of my people's make.
A quite generous gift.
It is a rather beautiful and unusual fabric. Ceres can see though. Her eyes become a bit more used to this, I think, with the whole hanging around the table all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unusual in its general construction. It appears to be woven very much from many natural materials, but it looks very silky in its feel.
All right.
Interesting.
And on top of it, there is about 3 potion bottles sitting on top of it.
Great. Vicus will turn to the chiefess after inspecting the gift and say, I believe that I have no objection to allowing you the permission to settle and roam and hunt as you require to sustain yourselves. However, I would also request something of you in return. Namely, information. I understand you are new to these parts, but if you are to settle for some time, we have heard rumors of giants, per se, perhaps other dangerous beings roaming close. And as such, we would like to know what threat they pose to us and where they might be found. Given your people's no doubt expertise in hunting and tracking, I would ask that in return for our permission to let you settle, you would provide us with such information as you go about your business.
You wish for my hunters to scout your lands for you? It is
Yes.
a reasonable request. Her eyes dart to the other two of you.
Doesn't say anything.
Vicus and Ceres are like probably in telepathy, so
More than likely. Yeah, I think them being here is fine. I have no issue with it.
mhm.
What could be very beneficial is if they can bring game into the city as well.
Right.
Fine for them hunting. Perhaps we can say.
Set up a trade.
Sorry?
We could set up a trade with them.
Yeah, set up a trade. Say that there needs to be like that mutual benefit. Though scouting will be fine for the short term. In the long term, that's not going to. It's not going to last. Realistically, it's not going to be fair enough trade.
I think you can present that to her. We can share the diplomacy burden here, so we can give each other help.
I think so Ceres will say the scouting is fine, perfect, even. But I think we can both agree that it lacks longevity. Perhaps in your hunter's great skill, that we can set up a trade between your tribe and Sorkai, where a set number for each set of kills, say 1 in 10, will come to Sorkai at a reasonable price to lessen the burden on our hunters and create a long-standing trade agreement between our people. That benefits us both.
In turn, does that allow my people full access to purchase at your markets? Full entry?
I think telepathically, I think Sarah says, I don't see any issue with that.
Vicus nods and says, yes, it would mean that you would have permission. It wouldn't do if there was only a one-sided trade. We will offer you our expertise and goods, and you offer us yours.
Then I believe we can come to an agreement. Our people often are in need for supplies that we cannot always get on our own. Metal, stone.
Wonderful. If you so desire, you can send a messenger with any requirements for your initial settle here. We will see to them.
On the behalf of the Travian tribe, thank you.
Likewise. It was a pleasure to meet you.
The chiefess will take her leave if you have no further business with her.
I believe Vicus says no.
No, I'm good.
As she leaves, you just you see Vicus kind of slouch a bit. His experience with the pressure of diplomacy, he's very much used to deception and just intimidating people to get what he wants. Having to have an honest discussion with someone takes a lot of mental energy from him, and you can just see him visibly like relax as she leaves. So, well, I believe that's done.
Very good conversation. Very reasonable lady.
It's perhaps an interesting ally. We'll have to see.
Indeed. I think just based on most wood elves, they tend to have some form of druidcraft, to my knowledge. Maybe not all, probably not all of them, but perhaps a select few. Perhaps only even one. But that's always useful to have, especially in climates like this.
Vicus turns to Torin and says, do you think this will cause a much of a burden on the security here in Sorkai? Having them nearby?
I don't think so. If anything, it might be a benefit.
I think we'll just have to keep an eye out for prejudice among our human population. Wood elves have a terribly inaccurate representation amongst humans.
As we've seen, the Empire seeks to do that a lot.
Indeed. So I think it could be worth speaking to our guards to make sure that they are. I'm sure Torin, you will manage perfectly well. To remember that we aren't the Empire, and we don't just put prejudice on people or how they look. Hopefully the populace will follow the guards' examples.
The guards follow my example, and I have no such prejudices.
Then we shall have
Yes. No problems.
a
It just
wonderful.
finishes her sentence for her.
It'll be a wonderful trade with them. I think they can bring a lot.
Ah, great. All right, next issue.
Terrace bundles the cloth. I have a job for the harpy.
Oh wow, that's a really good elixir. How many of those were there? 3?
That's one of them.
Oh, that's one of them. Oh, they're different. Oh wow.
Yep.
Ooh, that's good.
I don't think that's cold.
Okay,
Makes sense.
that's useful, man.
Still have a potion of cold. Yeah, I've got a potion of cold and fire resistance still.
Remind me, Dark, are we personally keeping track of like the common inventory we have in the kingdom, or is that something that you were doing? I honestly can't remember.
Common inventory?
Yeah.
What do you mean by common inventory?
Party.
As in this, yeah, party pile kind of thing.
I have not been tracking the party pile myself.
I've been
Alright,
vaguely aware of it, but we've always split any money we've gained, and
Yeah, we always split it straight away, right? So
Yeah,
and any
and-
other money is usually tied into the kingdom
yeah,
There we
gold
go.
mechanic stuff.
That's
yeah.
the third one.
and so the last thing I
Oh.
had was like Lorenzo's stuff, and that's all been divvied up already. Oh, I
Yeah.
got stuff like the suit plus the trident of fish command. Those were all divvied up immediately, so there's nothing to divide up.
Yeah, 1 elixir of health, 1 potion of resistance to cold, and 1 potion of growth.
That potion of growth, I think, should be Aminus's.
Yeah,
I'm
bigger
interested in
aura,
that for
right?
sure. Oh yeah.
Bigger
Yeah.
aura immediately.
Yeah, and
Aminus's.
the reach is definitely better for him.
Yeah.
I can keep track of stuff we haven't claimed. If you want, Halldamir. I know you're already streaming. You have a lot to focus
Oh,
on it as it
that's-
is.
That's fine by me.
All right, awesome.
Yes, and the Wood Elf camp is now available outside in case you wish to go speak with them.
All right, great. Yeah, Aminus, you take that growth potion then. So let's wipe it
will.
off. Great.
Re-enlarge, that's so good.
That's
Yep.
great.
Still have this fabulous trident of fish command that we need to
Mm.
do something with, but
I think we should give that as a prize to someone. The only
but
way we
it's
can get rid of
worthless,
it.
though.
Yeah, I think
What
we
if
should
you
be-
what if you make a fishing tournament?
Perfect.
I mean,
that is the
I think the
prize.
idea was when we get an admiral, he's going to get the trident of fish command.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
need a
Well-
dock before you can get an admiral, but maybe.
Speaking of what to do with items that we're not going to use, perhaps we should talk to this merchant that we have been hearing about in
yeah.
the city.
Maybe.
I'm
Yeah,
up for that.
I definitely want to at least be present. Like
All right.
merchants, they can be crafty folk, and not all of them sell stuff. Some of them also acquire stuff.
The last merchant I dealt with was was greedy, and we bought a dock, or like hired the use of a dock from.
Vicus is gonna. He's gonna say put back for now. I think he thinks you both.
He's gonna go back to his office for now.
Yeah, he has stuff to do now. You two can handle it just fine. And Sarah's can always yell at him if something happens.
Yeah, that's true. I like the image of like every like few hours, like Ceres and Vicus arrange to meet somewhere in the middle of where they are just to reconnect and then go about their day. They learned from
it's
the
actually. I think it's actually. I used to think it was touch, but actually it's who I can see. So.
Okay, so
I
I'll go
can just
to
look out my tower and be like, Oh, there you are.
I'll poke my head out the window. Oi, oi.
I think that's the same as. Oh, that's actually one advantage of over Theo's one. Theo's actually has to be close range to start the connection.
It might be the same. I might be mischaracterizing it. I'll have to look.
You head to the market, and indeed, it doesn't take you long to find the individual that you've heard the hushed. I heard the hushed whispers about. They certainly stand out as being they're slightly shorter than the average human, but not by much. Tabaxi, a cat person, seemingly walking around and generally talking to all the merchants, inspecting their wares, picking up pieces, speaking to the merchants some more, putting pieces back. Just heading all over the market, getting at everyone's business a little bit.
Okay. I think Ceres will watch him for a moment before, like, unless it notices her. Curious what it's doing. Why is it getting up in everyone's business?
Actually, as a merchant, that's how they make money.
Interesting craftsmanship. Interesting. The metalwork's not too bad, though. This bit here gives me cause concern. You know, this bit could just snap off if someone got hit wrong, right? That won't do. That won't do. No.
I think Ceres will clear throat to try get its attention, or just call out.
It's only gets the merchant's attention right in front of him.
I think Ceres will actually patiently glower at the cat and wait, or Tabaxi.
It takes him a moment to kind of stop his conversation, realize something's wrong, to then peer back. Oh. One moment. He switches to Elven, though it does seem like it takes him a second to fully remember his Elven properly.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon.
Ceres will speak in common for Taurin's benefit. Like, good afternoon. I have heard of you training around our markets.
Inspecting your goods. Just having a look around, seeing what the city has to offer.
And what's your opinion?
Your markets are quite limited.
Ceres nods. Expanding, that can be a common side effect.
Perhaps. You have a lot of stuff here. It's all fairly cheaply made and rather hastily done. No, I guess that's any frontier expansion, isn't it?
Ceres nods. And what exactly do you offer?
I personally like finding out all the various. Well, actually, simplifying. I like finding out what everywhere's good at. Where can I get the best? What offers the best of everything in each region? Some places are great for their wine. Some places are great for other things. Buy in one place, sell in another. You know how my trade works.
You're just a traveling merchant. You don't specialize in anything in particular.
I wouldn't say so much traveling merchant, though that is certainly part of it. I think of myself as a broker, deal maker.
And you've just come to Sorkai to see what deals you can make here?
To see what deals the place is capable of. Though, honestly, I found a distinct lack of much so far.
Okay. There's... We'll give a smile and say, as you said, frontiers take a time to specialize in anything.
True. There is potential in this place, though. As much as I degrade it, there is potential in this place. I smell it in the air, the smell of product. His whiskers twitch slightly.
A good sense to smell. And what do you think it is that we can capitalize on?
There's a few things. Depends on exactly what your vision for this place is. The mountains are rich with various ores, as well as, from what some little birdies are telling me, magic as well. Beyond that, though, you've got so much natural resources in general. Great forests, a good access to the sea, and a lot of people. A lot of very surprisingly motivated people. There's plenty of services available. I'm just not sure exactly where you're going. What do you see as the value of this place?
Sarah smiles and says, the value of this place extends past the gold value in my heart.
A scholar, then.
She nods. Yes, and also the idea of the king being here. Seat of his eventual ascent.
Yes, but his seat could be anywhere. What's special about this place was the question.
Ceres like gestures around, looking at it.
Real quick, Didius. I would like to make maybe an insight check. Like, is this guy interrogating us? What's his deal here? Like, he knows like about the territory's resources. That's not what a merchant just knows walking into a city. Oh yeah, your mountains are full of ore. How do you know that? Like, who are you? What the hell? Like, he's more than just like he called himself a broker. Like, that's not a term that anyone uses who doesn't do shady business. That's exclusively a shady business term.
It is definitely like a spy master thing to say.
Excuse me. I detest being called shady.
Oh, you're a broker.
It's a noble business.
I mean, you're free to make an insight check.
It is the world's second oldest business after prostitution.
Rolled an 11.
I mean, you don't.
Thorin can barely read people, let alone cat people.
You have no experience reading a tabaxi's expression. A tabaxi are pretty rare as far as they go.
I don't know. Merchants are weird.
I mean, you don't sense anything like obviously like this guy is immediately like causing crime or anything. But
No,
There's
he's allowed to be here.
obviously, you're free to be suspicious.
Nope, I am no longer suspicious. He's a merchant in the marketplace. Who knew?
I'm
Ceres
also a
is,
merchant bee.
I think Ceres will detract from his question and then turn a question back to him and say, this place is full of fascinating things, and yet you came to a burgeoning city that you would know as a broker wouldn't have anything in particular arising from it. I feel like there's a reason you came here. Looking through our markets wasn't exactly the reason.
Smell of opportunity. There is a change coming. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I know when the air is changing and things are changing. I want a piece of this action. Only problem is I don't know exactly what I'm getting a piece of.
I think that's a question you need to find the answer to.
Yes. That's why I was looking through the markets, trying to figure out what your city was producing. But now I'm wondering if the value is elsewhere.
There's will just raise an eyebrow.
Regardless, though, I do smell opportunity, and I do not want to miss opportunity. Is there any requirements on purchasing buildings here?
Is there? Out of character.
I mean, we tend to actually purchase one of the buildings. I think you need to sort of declare like who you are and
Like what
your
you're doing.
loyalties a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If you're
assume
gonna,
there's
if you're gonna
paperwork.
set up,
Yeah.
if you're gonna set up a business here, you know, we need to know, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck,
It's
you know,
it's
what's
also
up.
our steward that deals with like building related things, correct, Dark?
It would originally be the area of the steward, yes, to to a degree, yes, to handle that sort of
They would be aware of the setup of how you could just buy a random building in
Yeah.
the city. I see.
yes.
Alright.
The purchase of land and such falls under the steward's domain.
I think Ceres will say a good stack of paperwork, including why you wish to purchase the building and what use it would have.
I do always
And-
appreciate a well-organized place.
And of course, a bit more information than your job title.
It depends exactly what you're wanting.
Name, affiliations.
Well, Macalarusia. That's the name I go by. Affiliations, myself. I also have various connections with some businesses elsewhere in the Empire, but that's a different issue.
I think at this point, Ceres is going to carefully study him to see if himself as an affiliation is particularly truthful. And I use the word truthful because I have the ring of truth telling. Allows me to have advantage to see if someone is lying to me.
You can go ahead and roll.
Just a 12, apparently.
To the best of your understanding, he might just be a very free-spirited cat.
Okay.
Not having any particularly strong ties with anyone.
I think
You're muted, Joss.
What services would a cat provide to the city more precisely?
that's something he still needs to figure out, from the sounds of it.
From what he said, he probably has some expertise in mercantile matters, but doesn't know what direction to push them that
Yeah.
works with the city and for him. He wants money out of this, but he's not sure how the city will help him get that money. But he knows there's an opportunity from somewhere to get it.
He's trying to figure out the niche that he needs to fill.
Yeah.
And likely has the connections to fill that niche market that needs filling when he figures it out.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
No, he's a young investor, and the city is Bitcoin in 2015.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a Bitcoin, bro.
He's an early adopter, but he needs to be provided with a reason to adopt in early.
Yeah. I
And,
think he's fine.
You'll figure it out.
If he wants to buy a building here, so long as it's all above board, I'm pretty okay with it, honestly.
I mean,
I don't trust
if you
this
want,
cat at all.
that's great. Guess what? You have someone who can look into this cat and his history.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we got a spy master for.
Find information on the cat.
We got, you know,
That's my job. So
direct him to Raiden and direct Vicus to him. Easy.
Yeah. I'll be present when he's talking to Raiden.
Mhm.
Suss him out.
You know, yeah, I think Ceres will sort of nod and say, well, if you are interested in buying the building here, Lord Raiden is your best person to speak to. You'll find him in the town hall, his offices.
Well, thank you very much. It's been quite a pleasure, actually.
Ceres will nod and say, I get that quite often.
You never quite gave me your name, though.
Ceres is still turning around, but she'll say, Lady Ceres Talania.
Good day to you, Lady Ceres Talania.
She'll give like a wave. Like a
Or he's
backhanded
just
wave.
ignored. He's like a statue-esque, like towering figure. He's just completely ignored him. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he's standing some distance away.
Oh,
He's
sorry.
observing the conversation, but not particularly like joined in it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were standing right beside her, so I was like, wow, rude.
Nah, it's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, understandable though. I see.
It was okay. It wasn't enough for a duel to be declared.
It's just a merchant. Who cares?
Just a merchant.
All right.
She said it's
Um,
probably gonna be
So we got Sister Preacher and we got Eliza.
I'm feeling Eliza before Preacher.
Sure. I feel like this is something maybe we all should be here for. I feel like it's a.
Yeah.
Group of
Has she
Eliza-
requested? Should she requested everyone or?
No, she simply wished to speak with members of with some members of the council. Though Aminus wasn't particularly named for this.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, Lady Eliza is like the person I like the most on a council. So I would go if she asked for someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a very willful person and she's very reliable. So. And we're also going to coronate her soon, so.
Mhm. As you know, as her liege lord, I am obliged to hear her request.
It's true. She swore an oath to you.
Yeah.
Though in this case, she's coming to you as councillor, not coming to you as Eliza. Personally.
Well,
Oh, you know, we can mix a little bit.
Makes a match it.
as Eliza will come to the court when you have time.
yeah. Well, we can.
I have time right now.
You know, we can make time for Eliza of all people, you know?
Yes, I agree.
She's all
Ceres,
wonderful lady.
Vicus, my lord.
Eliza.
My lady.
Suddenly been getting busy around here. Mrs. been getting just as busy back home, but that's a different matter.
A lot of new faces around.
Who knew there was so much preparation for a coronation?
Not getting cold feet now, are we?
No, but I do wish my handmaidens would well, they'd give me some privacy from the tight dresses. But that is not why I came here.
Why did you come here, Lady Eliza?
This was more for your realm, for your people. As councillor, one of my duties is to consider and help implement holidays for your people. Public holidays of all kinds, that would be.
Hmm.
There are traditional religious ones that would very frequently be held, especially around times like the solstices. But there are other holidays we can also implement depending on anything that you wish to value within your realm.
Can think of
I
one.
oddly even had a petition to have a Founders' Day every year.
Yes,
in your
indeed.
honor.
The speech that Aminus gave was quite a memorable event. I feel a holiday for such a founding of the city is a good holiday of any to celebrate.
I'll be honest, though, it may end up being quite expensive. They expect you to match what you did last time.
It's just a snort from Aminus, and then just like, oh, I wish that was possible. You know, he nods though and says the founding of the city and the founding of our rule is something to be celebrated. I think it is a good idea.
Understood. It will be, of course, quite some time away before that we'll have to face that again. But preparations will need to be made regardless, long in advance. So
public holidays are useful in creating a sense of community and something that the people here would share to bind them closer together. As such, yes, a day of founding celebration would definitely be something we should promote. He strokes his beard slightly with his gauntlet at hand. I am not sure we could match what we did the first time, but maybe we don't have to. It would be. It is good that if the first time was so extravagant and that it can take on its own myth, perhaps.
it certainly would be one for the history books.
He nods, as was intended.
Other than the general religious holidays that I honestly don't know much about, Lady Eliza, do you yourself have any personal recommendations?
There are various smaller holidays that can be implemented outside the general ones. Dedications are very frequent. Dedications can be frequent ones. Some places enjoy festivities of love each year to try and encourage newlywed couples and more couples to, well, be formed. That's a common one that we see from place to place, though it's not everywhere. My brother did ask me to remind you that any holidays do, of course, eat into our people actually doing their work.
Yes,
You don't
but
have to be the most productive around the holiday periods.
indeed. I also might suggest that given that we have a contingent of Scaldi here, perhaps we should give at least one day for them in alliance with their beliefs. If we are to foster unity, then we must foster unity between all organizations, affiliations, and religions, I feel.
It is possible that we could set up some kind of remembrance, perhaps, for the Scaldi War.
He nods.
A time for both sides to remember the fallen, remember their past. A Heritage Day, I suppose, of some kind.
I think that would be good.
The only other question, of course, is if there's anything that you'd want to try and encourage. That, to be honest, with various holidays, we can encourage many things if need to.
Well,
You want, military parades. Our military parade to encourage service.
Aminus nods. Yes.
You could you can go, as I mentioned, with Festivals of Love can potentially help boost growth, but well,
I'm gonna look slightly away and like out the window. Thinks a little bit. Says, "Well, we are presently in a situation where we are going up against the Radiant Throne itself. Sooner or later, coming up to something like that, I do believe that continuously fostering patriotism and loyalty to our rule is important, because will come a day when we are most likely face to face with the usurper on the throne. And when that day comes, we need to be sure that our people chooses our side.
I could likely work with the local church and have a day dedicated to the warrior. Remind people of their duty. Remind people of service and loyalties.
He nods.
I'm sure
Remind the people.
I'm sure the church wouldn't mind helping us set this up.
Remind the people also that how much we have done for them.
I believe that would come in terms of recognizing service. But I do also realize that even if we do have the will and the duty to serve, we need the people to serve it. And so perhaps promoting the growth of our people is also a good thing to do. So perhaps, even though it is quite a productive drain, perhaps we could have both.
I'm not frowns. I mean, one holiday every season or so doesn't seem too bad. Shouldn't be too much of a drain, right?
Maybe with the standard religious ones, the standard traditional ones that people would expect on top of that. But
He scratches his beard again. Right. Yes. Of course. How many standard ones do we have?
there throughout the year, I don't have an exact number for, but there'll be basically a small spattering of days here and there.
I think fitting in two more is fine.
Well, yeah. I think the founding of the city is definitely like a patriotic sort of.
So the Founders Day celebration would boost loyalty among your people.
Yep.
Yeah.
A dedication to the warrior would boost recruitment for your army.
Yep.
Is there anything else you might want to boost to, or are you happy with simply those two in the standard holidays?
I mean, we need people, right? Maybe we need Festival of Love. Like we need more people, and
You also wanted the Scaldi one, yes.
yeah, the Scaldi one. So that's like 4, is it?
Which will help diplomatic relations.
What, the Scaldi one?
Yes, because we have Scaldi contingents here, and I mean, we don't want to have a faction split here. Like if we're fostering loyalty among our own people, and suddenly we have Scaldi, feeling unrepresented, then we're gonna have an issue. So
What is the Scaldi holiday precisely?
well, we're classing it as like a sort of a heritage day in remembrance of the Scaldi War.
Oh, I see.
So they can remember, both sides can remember what they lost and stuff.
Okay.
It's more of a remembrance day, right?
All right.
Just a day for them for us to show them that we are aware and know that this happened.
It would provide a boost to diplomatic relations potentially.
Well.
Plus potentially make it easier if you're needing to recruit more Scaldi warbands to your side.
I see.
That's just more a product of good relations with them.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So that would be Festival of Holiday of the Warrior, holiday for Scaldi is 3, and then the other one was the military parade.
So this is so in chat right now. I put down what currently is currently been suggested.
Dedication. Yeah, then if you add the like festival of love to that, I think that might be fine then.
Find the one that does not belong.
But you could do the festival of love, which boosts basically just like family growth and
Family
population
growth, yeah, population. Yeah, I think that would be a good set there, because these holidays are more like a long-term benefit, and the longer
Yes.
we have them, the more we reap from them.
One that could be good is something dedicated to the smith as well.
For like production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would switch out the Scaldy one for that in that case. Because the Scaldy one it seems to me to be the most superfluous. Like,
Sure. Sure. I mean,
unless we have somehow in a treaty or a promise to have a Scaldy Heritage Day.
no, we don't. I was just thinking. It was like my initial thought because I hadn't thought of other ones. But now that we have so many, I agree. It seems a little bit like less of a. How would I say? It has less of an effect than the other ones, I feel.
Yeah,
in terms of usefulness and utility. So yeah, we can swap out the Scaldy Heritage Day for like a dedication to the Smith, perhaps then instead for production.
Then we sort of got quite a lot. So we got like recruitment for the military. We've got loyalty to the crown. We got general happiness, and then we'll have like good production, happy goodness, and
yep. The population growth to feed the recruitment, that feeds the loyalty, and within all that, the trade facilitates all of that stuff. So
yeah.
So that
We have too many holidays though, otherwise we threaten the efficiency of our workforce.
I think 5 is fine, right?
I'm just kidding, obviously.
Oh yeah. I think that those 4 on top of the standard are fine.
Okay.
Only bank holidays.
You can't technically count the standard ones, but it will make a hit to everyone's happiness.
Yeah, let's not do that, because I mean,
I think
no point having like a Founders Day for loyalty, and then the people are pissed anyway. It's not gonna work. So
yeah, it basically equivalent to you canceling Christmas. So it's like, oh
yeah, let's not cancel Christmas. Let's not be the Grinch. All right. Does that sound good to everyone? Those
Yes.
4, 5.
good to me.
All right. What does Lady Eliza think?
Eliza makes notes and considers. Well, it'll take some work, but I can start writing up a calendar for this. It shouldn't be too many. Yeah, it should be fine. She kind of smiles a little bit at clipboard. She seems rather happy that you've set some up.
I mean, it's a definite important concern. All right.
We just got the preacher to do it.
I do wonder how we're going to match next year's Founders Day, but well, we've got 11 months for that.
It's gonna be like Woodstock, you know. It's like Woodstock 16. It's like I was there, and that's gonna be the legend. You know, you're gonna have like old wise men who's like, yes, I remember.
It's gonna be like whoever can have the best reenactment of the festival and of the king gets a
That's
prize,
right.
and
Yes.
you know
We're going to have an Aminus lookalike contest.
yeah. Hey, it's good to find potential, body doubles in case you get assassinated.
Yes,
Just
good,
saying,
You know,
your dad did the same thing. So
are you?
Oh, I see.
Are you implying that Aminus is coward enough to hide behind a body double?
no, I'm just saying that someone that looks at him might get killed by accident, and that's better than him getting killed. So.
We're suggesting that our enemies are dumb enough to fall for it, which is something that Aminus would believe and accept rather than the other thing. It's all about phrasing.
I think that's quite common with Aminus. It just depends how you phrase the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, yeah, right.
But very well. I will add a note of those down.
All right. So does Mikuru still have a thing going on, or is it just you forgot to turn him off?
His is not fully resolved yet, though it's partly resolved.
All right. I did say I would stand in the meeting between him and Raiden, but I'll do that after the preacher. I feel.
You have received reports that there is a preacher basically every single day in the middle of the lake pond area.
She looks creepy. I think I need to be there with the king at least.
Mm.
She might be a threat.
So what do we know if we talk to our head person of clerical affairs, Sister Fiona? What does she have to say about the preacher?
Sister Fiona does not really recognize the gospel that she's preaching. It's a very, she's not really sure where this is coming from. It's definitely not a religion that's from anywhere around here. Even just from Sister Fiona going to speak with her previously about this, because the preacher has disconcerted a couple of citizens and they've come to see the priest as a result. That apparently, as far as she can tell, definitely appears to be a traveler from far overseas.
Very strange.
Sister Fiona is though struggling to fully understand exactly what it is she's preaching about.
Just come very far to a very strange place in that case.
Yep.
Very well.
Alright, let's go check her out again.
Bring her to the castle.
Oh, okay.
The king does not walk the streets to talk to some sort of preacher. She comes to me.
You're going to arrest her and have her dragged to the court?
Guess I think she's going to be summoned, and the
Yeah,
implication is that the no isn't really an answer here in this case.
Yeah, she is politely but firmly invited to appear before the court.
She is escorted by the guard sergeant to your court.
Yes.
Having apparently initially just declined coming.
He declined coming, then Torrance there too.
A
troublemaker, you say?
You're joining a guard sergeant and escort.
Sir, she declined. How dare she?
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
All right. Well, when she appears before the court, Aminus is seated on the throne, as is his wont. He will look down on her and observe her for like half a minute to see what she does.
She witnesses you, studies, kind of looks over your features for a moment, and kind of just prostrates herself on the ground.
Okay, that's good.
Very good start.
She knows how to do it.
Aminus nods, imperiously. And then he will address her and say, I am told you have been preaching near the pond in the center of the city for many days.
I am spreading the word of my lady in crimson.
He frowns slightly. I am also told that you are from a faraway place, perhaps from over the seas.
Cara Selesh, yes.
Aminus frowns, looks over to Vicus. Has he ever heard of this place?
Can I flex my history check here?
You can roll me a history check.
You could also telepathically ask Sarah if you need it.
All right.
Good
Well, I have +5 in it, so
You would both be aware of where Cara Selesh is.
Okay.
If we're considering like we're in like France or something like that,
Sure.
yeah.
For like comparison, she's come from something like one second, I'm trying to get one second, I'm going to get up. Basically, I think she's coming from like a Persia kind of region, basically.
Oh wow.
Interesting. And given now that we know roughly the place of origin, does the Lady in Crimson have any significant ring any bells then? given the location of where she comes from?
Not immediately, but you can roll a religion check against it.
No, funny.
Can I?
I will try.
Phone friend?
I'll aid you. I'll
Oh!
aid
Oh,
you.
wow.
You can roll again,
Oh, I'll roll again.
or if I'm helping you.
Okay,
Wait. Oh, okay.
too late. 19
Aminus is
on religion.
fire.
I've never known so much about religion as I did with this roll.
You should.
You don't usually pay attention in your religious studies.
He
So.
was
No, I
sober for
really
this
don't.
lesson somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Oh, that was the day they lost the key to the cabinet.
Maybe, yeah,
for
maybe
4 hours.
Maybe they have nice wine or something over there. So
Well, they do actually have quite nice wines over there, but the lady in crimson, you've heard that moniker before. It's obviously not the god's actual name, though. It's fair that you very rarely say a god's actual name.
Mhm.
That's kind of asking for attention directly. To your understanding, you believe it's some kind of fire deity.
Fire deity, huh?
Why is she preaching fire deity in a cult?
Fire, fertility.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Fire,
a close.
fertility, and you think revenge.
Oh,
Oh,
passionate goddess then.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm just.
Also, sometimes apparently known as the Lady of Crimson Silk.
Yes. Well, he will look upon her, and then again and say, "You seem to have traveled very far. Then, why on earth have you decided to come to Sor Kai with this preaching of the Lady in Crimson?"
I was traveling the lands of the south. Much of your realm is not hospitable to me and my teachings. It appears your church does not like outside gods speaking their truths, some denying their existence entirely. But when I heard of a brave people battling the frigid north, what else could I think that they needed the protection of my lady?
I mean,
A beautiful flames to counter the cold, push back the frostbite. I'm not sure how people could live in this kind of place otherwise.
you know, some some people will say the same of the desert you come from, probably. That said, what is your goal here, more precisely?
I simply do my God's will. She asked me to spread her word, spread her truth, spread her message of love, of healing fire.
this
I'm-
this healing fire that you mentioned, is it as literal as I think, or is it in a metaphorical sense?
She smiles a little bit with a slightly sharp smile. In some senses, both, I suppose.
He raises an eyebrow and says, "Then, if I ask, the Empire certainly would oust one with a religious countenance that doesn't adhere to those, but were there any other reasons besides that?"
Any other regions beside that to what? My travels?
No, to why the Empire was so hostile to you.
I do not know. They said I was a heretic, a blasphemer, stealing the fire of their god.
Yes, they call everyone a heretic these days. Well,
It is a true shame they do not embrace love.
Sorry, Doc, remind me where. I was looking through my notes about the different aspects. Where does the fire come from in the Allmakers religion that they'd be so bitchy about?
really doesn't have a strong sense, except of course for the whole connotations of the sun, which obviously
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, but
is there's it's not actually a strong domain of theirs though.
no, that's what I was sort of looking over it, and I was just thinking, like the sun, I feel is more like the holy shite instead of the fiery stuff. So I feel like getting all butthurt over some fire lady.
In fairness, they get butthurt over foreign religions in general.
I mean, you're totally right. Totally right.
What Vickers is trying to detangle here is whether or not like this is like, yes, let's spread our love and holy fire by burning people alive or something.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
I was just
it's hard
curious
to
if
tell.
I missed something.
Goddess of vengeance, you can see how things might go sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But how does Aminus feel? Vickers will probe his mind telepathically. Or a question.
Yeah. He is some sort of guardian of the faith, like on paper at least. Then again, I mean, like, what if I let you be? What would you do?
I would continue to spread the word of the healing fire. I will continue to preach where I am able to, spread the message of my lady for as long as I find a purpose here.
And the scripture, is it in written form or is it true words from yourself?
Do you have a pamphlet, perhaps?
I do have some sacred scrolls of our scriptures.
I mean, if we could get a copy of that, that would be helpful, actually.
I could produce a copy, though it would take some time.
You have scribes, right?
I mean,
Isn't there a
Yeah.
ritual where you can like copy any text in like a minute? Or
no,
something?
the Baroness has a ring that can copy stuff
Oh yeah, that was
that she seals with though, so
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
was
really work.
That was like a
It's for her
written
own benefit.
agreement. Yeah.
That's the contract rings that creates copies of contracts. So.
Right.
I think there is a magic like that, but I can't remember the name of it.
Well, here's the deal, sister. If you provide us with a copy of your holy text and also one of our local acolytes to observe you, spreading your giving your services to the people here, I would allow you to stay for now.
I have nothing to hide.
He nods. That is good. Nevertheless, we will look closely. As you understand, the land, the empire that you now are in yourself has had a long tradition of a unified church and a unified beliefs. As such, we might be slow to change somewhat on that part unless there are obvious benefits for us in it. Yeah.
Of course, while I am here, I will continue with your blessing, I assume, to provide my magic to your people.
He nods. You have my permission to practice your religion within my realm, with the above mentioned caveats. I will make sure that one of our acolytes are attached to you for your stay here. If you have any troubles, please talk to one of my representatives, perhaps Captain Torin or Vickers here. He indicates to Vickers, as he is my chamberlain and can handle many of the issues that might not require my personal attention.
There is an almost imperceptible raise of an eyebrow from Vickers at the mention of Chamberlain. He says nothing.
She nods.
He nods that then I believe we are finished here. You can supply the copies of your text to the court at earliest as possible. Thank you.
She will slowly unprostate herself from the ground. Sacred ashes be with you and to your health.
May the All-Maker's light shine upon you.
As she will turn and just look at the pair of guards who escorted her in.
Mm-hmm. With that, Aminus will send a well, he will he'll send a request to talk to Sister Fiona and Brother Thane.
You wish to summon them to your court?
Yes. Well, you see, Vicus, when you're dressed in your finery, it is I can't really say spymaster, can I?
Yes, well, the comparison to a glorified butler is very respectful, my king.
Yeah. And entering into the court, of course, is a very tall half-orc priest of the warrior, as well as Sister Fiona in her normal, quiet self. Entering in, both bearing their crosses of the Allmaker proudly. And as usual, Brother Thane has some forms of armor worn, though he did leave his weapon at the door.
Oh, that's very nice of him. Well, Aminus will nod friendly to the two. They are allies of his, have proven themselves useful and supportive of his cause. So he appreciates a bow, but he does not require like a full prostration from from the preacher. But she did the right thing. That was a good move on her part in Aminus's. Well, he will start and say, Sister Fiona, Brother Thane, I have spoken with the mysterious preacher. She represents a faith called the Crimson Lady, or some such. He waves a hand. She's from far away, across the sea, I believe, from a land of fire, desert, and dust. She has come here because she is. She experiences herself misunderstood, perhaps, or mistreated by the rest of the Empire, and took this as an opportunity to find more religious freedom, I suppose, as well as preach her message of fire, passion, and healing to the frozen north. Now, I have given my permission for her to continue her preaching within the city walls. However, I do wish to assign one of you to watch over her. My thought is that Brother Thane perhaps would do us this favor. Keep close to the preacher, observe her, and take stock of her faith, and report any strangeness or misbehavior directly to the court, so she can be dealt with in that case. However, if she is honest in her faith and do not cause any harm in your perspective, we can let her keep operating, as I do believe she has prayers that can benefit the populace. I realize that this might be somewhat unorthodox, as the Church of the Allmaker has been the official church of the Empire since its founding. But we are in a time and a place where we cannot be choosy with potential allies. And something as strange and foreign as her could give us a slight advantage in the future, pulling on resources that our enemies do not expect us to have. Your thoughts? He makes a motion over to Sister Fiona and Brother Thane for their input.
I pause for a moment. Sister Fiona, having a slight frown on her face for a second. Her presence has scared the populace slightly. It's a foreign thing having any preacher here that's not our own. And certainly the revered mother will not be happy with this. Then Brother Thane speaks up, though. While she may not like it, officially she's not the revered mother of this realm. And as we have no such person, it would fall to the local liege as our duty to follow his orders.
See, Brother Thane is solution oriented. He will go far in this organization.
They seem to discuss between themselves slightly. Sister Fiona has concerns, though she's not pushing against it. She just has concerns, clearly.
I mean, I have concerns too. She's a weird fire priestess.
Brother Thane doesn't seem too worried about keeping an eye on her.
Okay.
Mildly concerned she might set the city on fire.
It is very cold and there's a lot of snow, so hopefully.
But as it stands, his oath of duty, his divine forces him. In light of there being no one else to swear fealty to, means you are, you're his direct connection to the divine in this region. So
I sure am. All right. Well, in that case, that would be let it be so. Brother Thane will be attached to Shayala, the lady of the Crimson Flame. And his task is to keep an eye on her, observe her, see what she does, and make sure she doesn't cause any actual harm, or preferably that she doesn't start converting too many of the people here. We still want them to be in our religion. She can have like a small following, I suppose, but we don't really want to, cause a religious schism or anything like that.
It's enough legitimacy so that people aren't scared of her, but not enough that she can create her own like subsection of religious like following.
You don't have to build a cult here.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not necessarily. And I don't want a weird fire cult, especially since I don't know exactly what it is about yet.
Yeah, if it's found that she's honest and truthful and does not harm others, then she is perfectly fine to pursue her fate as her god entreats her to, but nothing more.
Because I completely agree, and I will say that fire can certainly be divine, but I know of a few other places where fire is very prevalent, and
Yes.
Yeah. Technically, in 5th edition, the fire domain and the light domain are technically one and the same.
All the same, yeah, but yeah. Those domains can also be shared by those not so nice.
Yes, Lucifer the Lightbringer, for example.
I don't like healing. The idea of healing flame or whatever is just for Vicus. He's more of a practical mind, and so that image to him is just
It
good.
certainly has a vibe of like burning sin away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She will provide you her divine doctrine. It's on this long, kind of very fancy calligraphied scroll. But your people can make copies of it, though it takes some time. From best assessment, the more religious-minded people in your court can assess the domains of this god as being the domains of light, life, and trickery.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know what to think about that combination.
Life, light, and trickery?
Yeah. I don't know, it's weird. There's worse combinations.
I feel like trickery is more in line with the revenge aspect here, so which makes more feel like the revenge is more of a hidden aspect of like revenge isn't something that they openly show. It's more of a sheathed dagger, so to speak. You're muted, Jonas.
I'm gonna say, anything we can use or potentially use that our enemies don't expect can be very useful too.
And
having a weird fire priestess might be what we need.
Sure, all the Empire has plenty of fire priests, but this is a bit different.
Bit different, and maybe who knows.
Also, let's be honest, life domain is always good domain.
Oh yeah. Right. I guess.
Deserve life being so powerful. Why are you so powerful?
I think Vicus is gonna change into his normal attire, and meet, or at least be present in the meeting between Makuru and Lord Ryden, as he said he would be.
You can be present for such a meeting. It is mostly boring paperwork.
Indeed.
A lot of boring paperwork.
But I feel like
it seems like Mikaru is actually more into the paperwork than Ryden himself is.
Oh.
Ryden, admittedly, is Ryden. Ryden tends to skirt procedure at times for the benefit of getting
Just
things
say,
done.
yeah, I understand.
So it seems like meanwhile the tabaxi here is just like, oh wait, paperwork? Cool. Let me sign it.
I see.
Wait, hey, you know there's a misspelling on this line here.
Which sounds like he could be a great friend to Torin, actually. Loves procedure and paperwork.
Maybe.
Maybe so.
But if apparently what he's wanting to set up is what he appears to be wanting to set up essentially is a import-export business.
Oh, he's a fucking smuggler and spy.
Um,
What do you do? Import, export.
Setting wanting to set up essentially a permanent trade caravan with one of his warehouses in the south.
Where is his warehouse in the south?
That is a wonderful question.
That he won't answer.
No, he will actually answer. He's trade. To be precise, he is bringing the caravan is coming from the free city of Valencia.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's an
Pretty
inroad
cool.
to get into good terms with them, I feel.
I mean, we
And they're
already
not-
have good terms with them, really.
But that's it. I don't know if we've even.
Oh, Valen-
Well, I haven't
maybe not.
know anything
No,
about
I'm
them.
thinking of the wrong one.
But let's see. Are they under the crown?
No, they are a completely free city, though they have an agreement with the crown to stay independent.
Yeah.
Though part of that agreement is that they are to acknowledge that the Allmaker is the supreme deity.
That
Indeed.
sounds-
And how is he going to ensure that his caravan is going to be protected through almost 2-3 different provinces of rule?
Especially now that we've driven away the burgeoning protection racket outside the city.
I see.
He doesn't seem to go into a lot of detail with Ryden exactly how he plans to protect. Though he does seem rather happy that his that him and his various trade contacts have plenty of ways of protecting their own caravans.
I wonder if
Given Vicus's own interests and connections, is this merchant anyway connected to the
Does not
underworld?
appear to be at all connected to your old contacts.
No, not my affiliation, but just in general. Are they shady or?
Nothing immediately is like screaming to you that like that.
Huh.
It's still possible, but nothing immediately standing out to you.
Is there like a tell that that like rogues use to like identify each other through cant? Like, is there like a call sign like, "Hey, are you blah blah blah?" And is there a response?
There are some things like that in Thieves' Cant.
I feel like Vicus might slip one in during a lull in the conversation, just casually, almost like Ryden probably doesn't even notice, but to see if there's any response.
You don't get any response from him.
Is there any perceptible change, as if he's heard anything?
You
or
can roll
knows
an insight if you want to.
Yeah, I would like to. 7. Okay.
No,
Now he
Ah,
knows,
yeah.
but you don't.
That's fine.
As far as you can tell, he did not recognize what you slipped in there.
Regardless, I played my hand, so we'll see. Okay, so his things in the south, going to Valencia. That's nice. What does he want to trade?
well, import export, of course.
His plans right now. He has proposed with Ryden for the meantime, having assessed your city. He's noticed for one the city lacks on certainly right now food production is certainly below where it should be.
Yeah.
As well as certain construction materials seem to be lacking. So right now his plan is to import those. But as he explains, he enjoys studying the markets in all various regions and finding out what trade goods are most in demand where.
Well, I think Vicus will inform him that they've entered an agreement with the Wolf Elf contingent in trade, and so it's possible that through them there might be goods acquired that could be useful to export.
There is one other interesting thing he puts on the customs agreement.
All right.
Allowing the import of magic items.
So allowing import into Sorkai of magic items from elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay. How does he have the connections for that? This man is pretty.
You don't. He doesn't
Powerful.
entirely say.
Sorry, I wasn't asking that. That's more of like a self-thought. Okay. I mean, I see nothing wrong with this. However, does Ryden himself have any concerns over this?
Ryden definitely seems to be asking him a lot of questions.
I mean, that's understandable.
But he doesn't have any immediate issue. Though the cat does very quickly seem to realize ways that he can just mildly annoy Ryden. But
I feel like in those cases, like if he tries to like turn it like in his way, you know how he likes to turn around questions and be vague. I think Vicus will just pointedly like try and steer him back.
he's not particularly overly vague at any points. But if he's asked like an actual question of like something, he does answer it to a degree. Though he does appear he doesn't entirely know what he's going to be treating at times. Yeah. That's the impression you get with your insight.
I'm such a free spirit. Like it's the worst for.
He will trade what the market demands.
Indeed. Well, Vicus sees nothing wrong with it.
Oh shit! You suddenly need tons of weapons. Weapons, bring weapons.
All right.
You know, that kind of thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, unless he has any.
You definitely do get a good sense, and Ryden agrees on this, that he is someone looking to predict and play the market before it actually fully happens.
Yeah, he wants to get in the door so he can reap all the benefits when it explodes.
Yes, he thinks Sorkai potentially might be a market due for a boom.
Indeed. Well, if we can get him to be a good player and we provide him with the opportunity he wants, then maybe we can use him as a contact to get the foot in the door for Letsia. Well, I see nothing wrong with it. Does he have any specific questions for me? Vicus would introduce himself as a the king's right hand, so to speak. So
He honestly doesn't seem that interested.
Fair enough. He'll leave when he's done.
Unless you stop otherwise, Ryden will allow him to let a building for himself.
I see no problem with allowing him to purchase a building. However, Vicus's presence is mostly prep for later when Vicus wants to look into the kind of the background behind him. Being there and hearing the answers to the questions will help him facilitating that. So yeah, that's that for that, I think. Oh, I accidentally closed my browser. That sucks. Hold on. All right. Do we have any other pressing business? You're muted again, Jonas.
But who is left? If anyone.
I don't think there is.
I don't see anything else. I think. Some people I certainly don't recognize here.
There are some people you may not recognize here. There's no specific. You can of course, if you wish to particularly ask about anyone, you can. That's an option.
No, I think if these people start causing trouble, the thing is that like Aminus wouldn't necessarily know to ask for these people he doesn't know, right?
Could you remind me of the name of the individual that visited Vicus and kind of gave him the lowdown on the underworld growing here?
I'd have to go look that up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I wrote it down and then I went to look at it and I didn't write it down properly. I don't think I was looking at what I wrote. It's just a mess.
So,
I'll get that for you in a bit.
Yeah, no worries. I don't need it right now. I just want to be aware of it.
2 questions.
Yes.
What is the status of Luck, and what is the status of Sir Gilliam McFrey? Because these are 2 characters that we have had some dealings with in the past, but haven't really talked about or thought of in the longest while.
We haven't
We've not talked about it in a
recruited.
while. Sir Gillian has not rejoined the Inquisition.
Yeah.
And according to the most recent reports, has been found kind of just been sitting around in the Wailing Witch Tavern for the last few weeks.
All right.
Hasn't really gotten up to much beyond at one point apparently bringing back loot from a few dead goblins.
Well, that is a man in need of guidance and purpose, and so Aminus would like to talk to him.
Making this another summons.
Yep.
I think he was on our list to do a recruit as a counselor.
He was a potential recruit you had for making into being a general.
Mhm.
It's mutually exclusive with Sir Bolton, so we get one or the other. But I think we all just kind of talked about Gillian would be maybe better choices, maybe.
Yeah, so Bolton feels like he is
Mm.
needed in Freyfrost. Like
Yeah.
I feel because he's. I mean, he would be great, but he's such a good guy and such a good man that I feel like we would rob Freyfrost of someone useful.
Yeah, he's currently functioning as a combination of Lady Eliza's bodyguard, not that she really needs it, and Warden of Freyfrost at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, once Lady Eliza's coronated, I feel like his role will become even more important.
Mhm.
She's going to become a prominent political figure.
Yeah.
So
And I don't necessarily want to deprive her of someone useful and loyal to her, right?
yeah.
Now, Sir Gillian here, on the other hand, a bit of a loose cannon.
I'm not going to be here for this.
All right.
Give you alone time.
Uh,
I feel like I would be threatening to him if I was present. So because the last time I talked to him was in a cell, so I don't think.
No, that's fine.
He arrives as you'd expect any knight to, in full armor.
Mm-hmm. Well,
He's got full armor. He's got a great sword on his back.
yeah. That is someone who's armed and armored the same as Aminus, which respectful.
You cross blades with him. You certainly know he's. Whew, he hurts.
Oh, he does. Yes, we have traded blows. Although Aminus has grown considerably in skill since then, and he's not sure that Sir Gillian, who seems to be on the verge of being like an alcoholic at this point, has done the same. Yeah. Would when he enters, does he observe courtesy? Does he make a bow or something like that, or is he defiant?
He provides a basic knight's bow to you.
Yeah.
It's almost closer to like a military salute in kind of representation, but it's still a sign of respect to you.
All right. Then Aminus will nod back as a sign of mutual respect as well, and then he will say, "Ah, Sir Gilliam, it has been some time.
About 3 months.
I am faced with a dilemma, Sir Gilliam, that I was hoping perhaps you can help me resolve. For you see, I sit here with someone in front of me who is clearly skilled in combat, skilled at leading troops, but has also been a former adversary of mine. Something I can overlook given the circumstances, and given that you have chosen to remain close to our seat of power over these months. But it presents me the problem. And the problem is what to do with you.
And you're asking what I think you should do with me?
He nods. Yes, Sir Gillian. Because when I first met you, you were all fire and virtue and fight. And now I am told that you are idling away your days at a tavern. And to me, that seems like someone who is looking for something. You have not left, you have rather pointedly hung around. And so that leads me to believe that you want something. Or perhaps you don't know what you want. That's why I'm asking. What do you want, Sir Gillian?
That is a wonderful question. I wish I could tell you. You remember as it turns out, my father was an oath breaker,
He nods.
and as it turns out, I was following a false preacher into the conquest of a land that was no justification for it.
Once again. Well,
To say my faith is tested here would be an understatement.
I would say that I know well the testing of one's faith, Sir Gillian, and the testing of one's vows and dreams and aspirations. I would say at least as well as you do. My fall from grace has been spectacular, but so too, I plan my return to be equally spectacular. For you see, Sir Gillian,
No offense to you, my lord, but you certainly do not look like your old portraits.
he smiles. Indeed not, Sir Gillian, and that is precisely my point here. For you see, this he does like a sweep of the throne room, like the pillars, like everything, and he also indicates to himself this and what is going on here, Sir Gillian, is rebirth. This is the reshaping of oneself, the transcending of old wrongs, and the attainment of one's true potential. He like clanks a fist towards his chest. I mean, look at me, as you say. I look nothing like my old portrait. I am all conquest. I am purpose. I am lethality. And I am focus. This I have achieved through hard work, goals, and determination. The rebirth is possible, Sir Gillian. What your old wrongs and your old shames are matters little to me. And that is what I would offer you. A chance to transcend your shame, transcend your mistakes, and find new purpose together.
Kind of looks you over. He seems hesitant, clearly having not really wielded his blade at full force for some time now, given him doubting everything he knew.
Mm-hmm.
You make it sound so easy to do.
Shakes his head. I did absolutely not say it was easy. He indicates like the scars and stuff he has on his face. I have bled for this change. I have killed for this change. Because that is what is necessary. We are, like the phoenix, reborn in flames, reborn in destruction. We kill the old to get the new. That is how the world works. In a sense, you must overcome, slay your past to become the new present, the new future of yourself. This is not an easy task, but with determination and goals, it is possible. I see you in great potential, Sir Gillian. And it saddens me that you would potentially waste them. And I am here to offer you a way to harness that potential and find new purpose. Is that not what perhaps you want? Slaying a few goblins is all well and good, But what if you could effect real change to really become someone? Someone so great, someone so important that you become the new founding father of your line. A banner house.
There, he raises his eyebrow for a moment, as it seemed to have caught him off guard. My own banner house.
He nods. You have seen my lands. You have seen the city and its neighboring lands. It is currently small, yes, but the potential is there. And there will come a day, Sir Gillian, where I need skilled, ambitious, and loyal knights to help me rule my lands. I intend to expand, and I intend to expand far.
You may attempt me a persuasion check.
Okay.
Your oath of conquest will give you advantage.
Hey. Pretty good. 25.
Over 25.
Mm-hmm.
There, your words definitely seem to resonate a little bit as you see Sir Gillian kind of clench his fist slightly and think to himself, taking in a bit of a deep breath for a second. Before he'll take a step forward, perhaps surprising some of your guards, and putting a gauntleted fist over his heart. You're right. I can't stand around doing nothing. I can't stand around wasting away all that I trained. If you're willing, despite my dishonors, to serve under you, I would be happy to join as a knight of your court.
Aminus will nod solemnly, and then he will rise from his throne, and he will draw his sword from beside the throne, which is always resting there, and then he will indicate for Sir Gillian to step forward and kneel in front of him.
He will do so.
All right. Then Aminus will touch his shoulder in the classic knightly move to officially dub him as a knight of Aminus's court. He will then indicate for Sir Gillian to rise, now officially dubbed a knight of His Royal Highness. He will smile and say, Sir Gillian, I believe you have done the right thing. And as you serve me loyally, I shall also strive to be the liege lord that you can respect and revere as is proper between a knight and his king. Slam the greatsword back in its scabbard. And then he'll say, now, Sir Gillian, I shall make sure that you get a proper posting, and I shall also soon be in touch with some missions that I believe your specific skills are particularly used for. As is your right as one of my knights, you can always come to me for counsel or if you have any problems. I would also request that we conduct weekly training sessions, as if I recall correctly, you did indeed land some pretty fearsome hits on me last time we crossed swords, and I want to see if I can rectify that. He smiles, slightly crooked.
I certainly will not go easy on you, my lord.
I would hope not.
He has a slightly proud look on his face again at remembering he landed some pretty damn solid blows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You beat him, but he still hit like a truck.
Oh yes. Oh yes. All right. With that, Sir Gillian is excused.
Sergei has now been changed to an ally, and his new headquarters will now be Night Hall.
Yes. Ah, Aminus, looks out the window for a second, reminiscing that he is surrounded by some pretty clever and savvy people, but he does feel that he can fairly well get his point across when he needs. And every once in a while, he feels pretty smart about the way he does.
He can be an inspiring leader when he wants to be.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. It's all about figuring out what they want. All right. I was going to talk to Luck as well, but if anyone wants to stick anything in between, please feel free to do so.
I initially wanted to recruit Luck as my personal diplomatic bodyguard, but feeling it's less and less needed these days. Unless there's an anti-magic field that I get popped into, and then I feel like he's going to be equally as fucked.
Yeah, I don't know if Ceres
he'll
needs a bodyguard necessarily.
I would tell you he'll probably be fine. Unarmed fighter does not really tend to care too much about magic fields.
I just thought his
Skin is
blood, right?
punch.
I thought because it depends on what his transformation counts as, right? He's got that dragon bullshit.
He does, and while he certainly wouldn't be able to necessarily use all of that, he would still be
The punch thing's hard.
he still hurts.
He's a
Yeah.
monk, right?
He is a monk, yeah.
Yeah.
Of
So
scale.
he's a monk with
fists.
some kind of dragony shape-shifting ability.
Yeah.
Scale fist. Yeah. Well, in that case, I would like to talk to Luck.
Could I
It takes a
attend
little longer
while
to
I-
get him. He has been hanging out with the wood elves outside of town.
Yes. Gonna run away with them. Mark my words.
But you are able to summon the halfling to your court.
Mm-hmm.
As usual, when he's been out and about, dressed in furs and various things you'd expect of someone who traverses the wilderness a lot.
Yeah.
Hide boots and such.
Yes.
You arrive as he kind of awkwardly looks around the giant throne room. He's never been in here.
No.
Honestly, he's never even been on this part of the city. So
He did help us storm it, right?
he did, and he came in here while this place was still like a ruin
I-
area.
Yeah, I remember.
He even helped you against the fight against the witch herself.
That's right.
He's not been in the palace since, though.
No, exactly. That's probably where Amnas will just take this, and he will say, "So, Luck, last time I saw you, you risked your life and limb helping us take this place from the witch. I know that my dear friend and late advisor, Lord Zed, had misgivings about you and your heritage. I want to say that I do not share his thoughts on this matter, and I summoned you here simply to ask why you still are here, I suppose. I am incredibly grateful for what you did for me in the past, but I am curious what your aims currently are and why you are still remaining here. As far as I know, you have nothing tying you down anymore.
I had originally actually planned to just leave, but when I headed back to speak with my old friends at the Tavaria tribe, they then decided the best place to come was up here.
Oh, so you know the elves?
Yes, I for several years lived in one of their old temples.
Huh.
He was
That's nice,
apprenticed
slowly.
under a wood elf.
It's a bit of a long story, but I pretty much grew up around that tribe.
I see. Well, that certainly explains why you would hang around. My next question would then be, is there any particular ambition or goal that you have? Is there anything you want to do with your life? You are certainly a uniquely gifted individual, as far as I understand it.
Well, the adventuring certainly hit a bust, given everything that happened. Nearly freezing to death, losing my party. Yeah. For what to do, I've not been entirely sure. I've been keeping myself busy hunting, exploring.
Nods.
There's a lot of interesting places up here, so it's been working for me for now. I don't know where I'm going to go, though.
We are certainly looking for extraordinary individuals to help us out, either by direct service, like some of my courtiers or advisors. But if you feel that that is not perhaps what you would be interested in, sort of lets the question hang there for a second.
I wouldn't know what I could do for a court like this. I'm not some fancy noble. I'm not some knight in shining armor.
Well, like, that is not exactly what I look for all the time. You see, this court is unconventional. It is a collection of flawed individuals that are working to overcome said flaw to become something greater. He indicates like the phoenix on the banner, right? A motto of ours, so to speak. So it doesn't matter to me if you cannot do a proper imperial courtly bow. What interests me is your skills, expertise, and what you yourself is interested in. And if these interests could align with something that would be good for my realm, then I would be interested in keeping you around, either as a retainer or perhaps a someone I can call upon, a adventurer, if you will, to help out with some odds and ends around town.
I mean, if you're looking for someone to hire for that sort of stuff, I'm happy to work with you in that regard. I don't really know what I'm looking for outside of, well, eventually figuring out. He kind of pauses, looks at your guards. This, as he kind of holds like his left arm out as you see it transform into like a dragon claw.
Sure.
Figuring out that would be quite nice. The guards are clearly on alert, seeing like his arm just turn into like dragon's claw. But
Yeah. No,
he's not approaching him. He's standing just there, just casually looking at his own clawed arm.
Oh, sure. No. Abanas is not afraid of him in the slightest. He respects his martial prowess, and he definitely respects him willing to risk his life coming in here. That was certainly
Admittedly, it was under threat of doing bad things to him, but still, he did it.
He did it.
And he did it above the duty. He kept throwing himself into fights, even though he was on low health.
Yes. So that is there is an aspect of loyalty or pride perhaps here. Maybe a desire to prove himself that even though he's a small halfling, he can do great things or something like that.
The desire to prove himself is something that I definitely think I think Aminus would pick up on.
Yeah.
He wants to prove that he can punch above his size.
Yes, and people like that is definitely people we like. And then he will say, "I see. Well, perhaps then as a first request from my side, not a command, mind you, but a request, is that you act as a bit of a bridging ambassador between my city and your tribe. The Wood Elves are foreign, some might even say alien, to many of the people living here. And some of their ways and culture might be strange or difficult to understand for some of my people. But someone like you, who has lived in both worlds and have favor with the court, it could perhaps work to smooth things over on both ends. Explain to them what we expect for people in visiting the city, and explain to some of the locals what they can expect from the elves in return. A mutual respect and understanding, as it were.
I can do that. I mean, I already sort of planned that anyway. Some of them aren't really used to trading with your merchants. They hardly get let into cities half the time.
He nods and says, "Then I am gratified to hear that you will help them out, so there is no ruffled feathers, or at least not more than necessary. I will have a discussion with my council to see if there is any place we can deploy you more efficiently on the field, so you can train your adventuring skill on the local flora and fauna, perhaps. I am told there has been rumors of all manner of strange creatures in the hill."
There has, actually. He pauses for a second. I think it clearly looks like he's thinking about something.
Aminus looks at him and indicates, like with a circular motion of his hand, that he should continue.
I was exploring some of the mountainside last week. At least the best I could. It's freezing out there, even with my tribe's protection on me. It's difficult. You can freeze to death that way quite quickly. Anyway, that's not the point. I ended up stumbling across what looked like some old ruins inside of the mountain, but they didn't seem like these ones, like elves. I think they were dwarves. Well, ruins of dwarves.
Very peculiar.
I couldn't get too far inside. I didn't have enough supplies, but
well, if there's a ruin of a dwarven hold or dwarven mine, that could be quite beneficial. He nods. Excellent. If you could, he indicates like there's like I imagine it's like a stack of paper or something, or perhaps it can be brought a map, or like even there might be a big map like of the realm in the throne room. Aminus will ask him to mark on the map roughly where it was.
He can do so as he'll reach into his own bag, pull out his journal, and basically copy across the notes he took.
All right, excellent.
He does seem to keep rather detailed notes on his travels, or tries to.
Hey, smart kid. Excellent. Then I think for now we're done with the talk. As I said, we might employ him to go over there with a like adventuring party or something and to scout that out if we deem it interesting and not like and like below our level, so to speak.
But you can employ him if needed. Currently, yeah, you don't have a proper position for him or anything, but you can employ him if you need him for something.
Yep. I don't think he necessarily fits around the small council table, but maybe there is a specific position we can figure out later on that like would benefit from his talents.
Yeah, there may be a position outside just the council itself.
Exactly. Like Arklan or Gillian, like they're not on the council, but they are retainers in some regards.
Yes. You can have. I mean, equally, Persephone's not part of the council, but she's a retainer for the council. So
yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. We'll see what happens with Sir Gillian, though. Give him a general was the thing we thought of, right?
Yes, which is a potential option.
He's
someone who knows how to lead troops, and currently you don't have anyone who actually is really maintaining your troops properly.
Yeah, and I think that since he is a knight with a very wounded pride, and like in my reading of him, a lot of his like life and thoughts circle around that wounded pride and shame. Getting into position of general might be beneficial for him because that is at least traditionally seen as a pretty grand position, right? Compared to the warden, who is a very important position, but more of a like it's more Commissioner Gordon, right?
Wardens are very important for defense, but you don't get glory from defense. You get glory from normally leading the army.
Yeah, and Aminus would definitely defer to Torrens' wishes a bit here, or at least he would be very sensitive to them. But as far as I remember, Torin picked Warden on his own, right?
Yes.
Yes.
He preferred the security and the lawmaking aspects, and
While the general is certainly a prestigious position, as a warden, you can get the satisfaction of a job well done.
I
it's a
also,
job. Warden's definitely a job that never sleeps.
I think I also recall me flipping him to get intel on the Inquisitorial forces was using his honor and self-sense of pride and nobility. So yeah, I think raising him up would only benefit us.
Especially since we have broken him down.
Oh yeah,
We don't want
I
to
ripped
raise
him
him
apart.
up
I'm so
would definitely bind him pretty heavily emotionally to us.
I basically said that he had to make amends for his father's misdeeds, and
I mean, I feel like
really ripped him
we have
apart.
some responsibility for helping him get back on his feet.
I
You literally
really
tore him
ruined
to
him.
pieces.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy because I full on blackmailed him into like emotionally guilt tripped and blackmailed him into giving us information.
But
I do feel like that was the necessary catalyst for this to be able to be happen. Like you need to break him down fully and not let him be disillusioned and hold on to those beliefs, and then build him back up again.
yeah, let him be a drunkard in the local tavern and feel lost and likely he has nowhere to go, and then we offer him sanctuary.
Yeah.
So manipulative, it's great.
Yes, well, I am a paladin of conquest, and
yeah.
there are many types of conquests. But
Yes.
yeah, and I do believe he can be very useful, and I do believe he can be very loyal and competent. So, which is something that we look for in our minions.
I do have one question. Has Theo returned from the task I gave him?
Theo has been keeping a close eye on him, but you can recall him at any moment to discuss what he's seen. But also, we have an end date to it, so
yeah, let's recall him now. Let's have a conference.
your young retainer will return, the crimson eyes staring at you through the doorway as he kind of slips inside.
Welcome back, Theo.
You know how hard it is to keep an eye on elves all the time they barely sleep.
I see it was good practice for you then.
My benefit is the fact he spent hours just reading, so I could just nap at some point.
So, have you found anything of import?
He loves books.
I see.
That much clear. He spent half the time trying to read what elven books we had in our library.
Do you feel like he read them? How would I put this? Was he interested in the books themselves, or was he just trying to distract himself?
I think mostly he was bored. He just wanted something to do. Read. He did seem kind of curious about all the ones that were like all the ones that Ceres kept freaking out about, the like history ones with like the high elves and that sort of stuff.
I see.
He was talking to himself, but I didn't have a clue what he said.
I see. Well,
he's been out in the garden a little bit as well. He was tending to some of the plants out there.
Well, at the very least, it's nice that he's finding some productive element for his time.
I've not seen him use any of his magic though.
That's good. Well, Theo, I'm sure you'll be happy to know that I release you from your obligation.
I'd have a nap finally.
Yes, a job well done. However, before you leave, my question is related to what we discussed before we left the Silver Duchy about your training. Have you made a decision yet?
I'm staying.
Well, that was quick. But not unsurprising, Theo.
You wanted me to think about it? I did.
Nuts.
It's not
Well.
like I got a lot else to go, and you've actually helped me understand how to use it.
He nods.
I never suffer from withdrawal doing this. It's good.
It's my hope that I can train you and assist you to become someone that, well, you can rely on yourself to survive. The world is a tough one, as I'm sure you've noted. But I see a lot of promise in you. And so I am here to help you along the way.
He nods.
And specifically your talent, your mage craft, is, well, Vicus scratches his beard. I have never seen quite the likes before. It is quite unique. And while I could certainly train you to be exactly like me, I feel it is much better to serve to train you in your own talents and aptitudes. And so focusing on your talents might serve you better.
I mean, your talents are still pretty cool. You could just like make a knife appear.
Vicus smiles.
I can't do that. He kind of like whips out a hand, like tries to make a knife appear. Nothing.
Well, the great thing about that, Theo, is that you'll end up doing things that I can't do.
I mean, I can already just stare at someone and make their brain hurt. But...
He nods. Exactly. And that's what makes us, well, unique.
Oh.
And I feel like well, when you grow up and become like me, I feel like I wouldn't be able to stand you if you were like me. Can't have two of us running around, right?
What would we ever do with ourselves?
I'll bicker all day, I suppose. But regardless, Theo, I accept your decision, and I will think about a plan for your training. But for now, yes, much needed rest for you, I think.
Oh, should we be concerned that the bloody elf is like talking to plants? Is that a thing they normally do?
Well, you mentioned he was talking to himself, but is he talking to the plants as well?
Maybe. I mean, I thought he was just talking to himself at first, but I mean, it almost looked like. I mean, it's not like the plant talked back. I think.
I'll have to ask Sarah.
Like, I don't know if he's just really intense gardener. It seemed like more than that to me. I don't know.
Well, I'll take that up. Not to worry. I'll not force you to run without sleep again for quite a bit.
But he's not done anything like suspicious.
He nods. That's good. I don't want to have to, well, do anything untowards.
I need bed.
Yes, you should leave quickly, because if you stay any longer, then I'll subject you to all this paperwork that I have to do.
Out. Theo, just beeline leaves.
Yeah, Vicus will quiz Ceres on like the potential significance of him perhaps talking to plants. And I'm gonna take Halddamir's thing in chat here as what Ceres would say.
Yeah, if I remember, he said that they wanted to get the Lorenzo's body back to a tree, which effectively stores like the knowledge of people like connected to it when
Right.
they're dead. In a similar light as the locket, I believe.
Yes, do you understand the locket was apparently made from some of that tree's wood?
Yeah, but
They might have an affinity for like plants, I guess.
The blood elves
storing
do.
knowledge in it.
The blood elves have always had an affinity for living things, be it plant or animal.
There's a
They have an
chance.
affinity for life essence.
It's a chance. There's just a chance that it's like being bros with the trees.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything bad about it. I just wanted to make sure that it's something that makes sense to be natural for him to do, and he's not
Yeah.
attempting something weird.
I mean, it seems natural from what we know, right?
Yep, and I think him doing these natural things is probably more comfort for him, or maybe reminds him of where he is. I
I
don't know.
think it's also comforting for us that, like, he's seen doing these things, and it's like they're not hiding it.
Yeah, he feels comfortable enough to.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Mm.
Yeah, but with that, for now, I'm happy to leave him to his own devices for a bit. We've got other stuff to do with, and he needs some time to acclimate, and I need time to figure out how the hell I'm going to facilitate him leaving. If he still wants to leave after staying here for a bit.
Yeah, because I mean, Cyrus was happy to apprentice him for the time being. See if we can keep him on board long term, but yeah.
Oh, that's true. Did he agree to that? I
No.
can't remember. No, he didn't. Okay.
He's kind of just left it as a he's here.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do we want to apprentice him? He's a blood elf, right? Don't we just want to sort of send him on his way with the corpses and that'll be that?
Why wouldn't we want to
because
have?
we're sending a child across a battle
When
scarred
you say
land.
child, he's still old. He's still older than like all the adults,
Yeah.
all like the humans and stuff.
Sure, but like in elf terms, he's practically a teenager, right? So
Yeah.
we're sending a
Oh, this is
teenager,
routine.
yeah, from a prejudice that like he has had no place in. So
As it stands, he was fully ready to take the body and go. But
Yeah, I'm still saying like let him. If that's his mission, I feel like if we hold him here, we're kind of kidnapping him, don't we?
I mean, we're not holding them against this will. That's the thing.
no, they just persuaded him to perhaps not travel right now while an active war is going on.
yeah, like he's going to die. Sure, he can get himself here just fine, but if he's holding a body in tow, like he's not going to be able to
A
protect
body that's
himself.
bigger than him as well.
Yeah. So we've convinced him that it probably isn't a good idea to do it right now. We're not stopping him from leaving. If he wants to really, really leave, we can't really stop him. But I don't like the idea of sending basically a teenager to their death.
And Ceres is always interested in new knowledge, and this kid presents some, so Ceres is into it.
Yeah, it's a unique insight into like blood elf culture and history, which might be useful to have some insights when we run into them in the south eventually, right?
Most certainly.
If there's any left by the time you get there.
If there's any left.
If there are any left.
I mean, there's possibly refugees that might occur, and it'd be good to have some cultural understanding.
The problem with refugees is that just the fact of most people are so hostile to them at this point.
Yeah. So just a shame.
Because propaganda.
Yeah, but we'll see.
All right. Vickers will also start planning with Ceres if she's available. Some sort of training regimen for Theo because he wants to focus on his magecraft and he knows little about that. And you're a sorcerer and he's a sorcerer, so
Absolutely, Ceres will
can help out.
Ceres will gladly provide whatever training Theo needs.
Awesome.
So yeah, Ceres is cool with doing that for Theo.
All right. Well, other than that, Vickers doesn't really have anything else to do right now. I see that Sir Gillian has something else. Perhaps?
Dark's just be right big.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
Welcome back, Dark.
Hello.
So Gillian's
I had a
robbing.
Yeah, I was wondering, is there
Excuse
still
me.
unresolved business there with Sir Gillian, or?
Yeah, so So Gillian now has something he can add.
Mm-hmm.
All
Right.
right. Sure. Let's see what Sir Gillian wants to add.
As
Does
he's
he
going
want
to
to?
as he's going to approach Aminus in particular.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, this is right.
As he will approach you in court, giving an appropriate honorary salute.
Hey. Aminus will indicate that he recognizes the presence of Sir Gillian and indicate that he can speak.
I've been reviewing our maps. I noticed that there's someone's marked some kind of dwarven structure on here.
He nods and says, yes. The halfling adventurer Luck, who is someone who has been with us for some time, apparently scouted part of that area and spotted the dwarven ruins. Unsure what it is at the moment.
There's been quite a lot of goblin activity in that area. Plus, though not just goblins, I think also hobgoblins as well, from what I've seen. I was thinking though, because I've been looking at. I knew there was something in that area. If this is potentially this is where their operations may be headed out of.
Nods.
Goblins and hobgoblins, of course, aren't that strong by themselves. Dangerous, yes. Problem if left unchecked, yes. But individually, they're not the dangerous part. It's them as a group.
Yes. Also, my experience from fighting them. What would be your suggestion?
It's something we definitely want to have cleared out. And knowing that knowing their location now is excellent. But given that they're individually not too difficult, and it's, well, such a dwarven location tends to be quite historic when it comes to. Well, it's not just really historic. It's a very good area for training, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you've been keeping yourself a squire.
He nods and says, yes. It's part of my alliance with Freyfrost, and it's one of its mayors. I have agreed to take on her son as a squire. The boy is bright and is developing decently.
It may actually provide, given the structure of such a place, it might actually serve quite well as a place to help train him. I'd also quite like myself. I think, given its rather scenic location, it would work for a nice place to hold if we wanted to hold a bit of a vigil spiritually.
Okay, Aminus nods and says, sounds like an excellent idea to me, Sir Gillian. Well done. Then perhaps you, together with Master Arklan, perhaps even bring Luck along, since he has scouted this area before. The three of you should be able to handle it quite nicely, yes?
Understood.
If you need additional help, one of my retainers can probably support you as well. We have contacts with the local chapel. If you need clerical support, for example, or if you believe you need some form of arcane support, I'm sure you can discuss the matter with the tower. He sort of indicates eastward.
Some support may be appreciated. We lack, to my understanding, the halfling is a bit of a brawler.
Yes.
A brawler and a pair of swordsmen is all good, but against if they have any magical support, we will be severely outnumbered.
No. Excellent. Then, Sir Gillian, I shall appoint you as the leader of this expedition, and you can act with my authority on the matter. I trust your judgment. As I said, if you require further assistance from one of the court or one of my retainers, you are free to ask that of them, and for that you also have my approval. I trust that should be enough to entice them to come along. He smiled slightly.
As an expedition has now been set up.
Hey, our first adventure party.
Halldamir. He'd be interested until he said spiritual.
I mean, that's Saracen in a nutshell. Get religion involved, and she's just like, ugh.
Yeah, they would. Yes, they would need at least a fourth to join them. Preferably someone with magic.
Who do we have?
I mean, they can
That's right.
petition.
As right now, they just have 3 melee fighters going.
Let's see what we have.
If we is sending our apprentices a bad idea?
You are able to send your apprentices if you want to.
I mean, we have Arkland. Maybe we should send the whole trio. I don't know what Charlotte wants to do or what you have plans for, Cyrus. But
I was thinking maybe sending Rodrigo, because he's a bard, right? And he has support magic.
I
and stuff.
wouldn't
He's
trust
a bard.
him.
He is a bard. He has magic.
I
So,
wouldn't trust him with
we
a 10-foot
haven't-
barge pole.
also,
What?
haven't
said
we
about Rodrigo.
haven't we not even
Everything.
talked to him about formalizing his cooperation yet?
Yeah.
Is he an asset we can use? I think he just hangs around, right?
You can hire Rodrigo to go along.
If Charlotte would like to go, you can, but Ceres isn't going to push it on her.
Who is this tiefling girl? Aspirant Icarthi.
She's the shaman. Do you remember the Scoldy shaman lady?
Ah, yes.
This is
was
one of
her
her.
2 apprentices.
Yeah.
Who was here visiting at the moment.
So she's sort of a druid, perhaps, something like that.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay. Well.
But you would have to take that up with her. I think she is capable, but she's certainly under no direction of us at the moment.
Luck is going to be bringing along one of his friends as well.
All right.
I think after Neo gets some sleep, I'm not saying it straight out, but I think he'll join. He needs
can do that.
experience fighting in a group, as well as by himself. And Arkland is
Yeah,
a
he
good.
can also act as a scout.
Yes, and he has some magical capability. So
Arkland also has that. I mean, he's a bard training in, so he can fling some healing and stuff if he wants to.
He doesn't have any magic yet, Arkland. So
Okay. He's only aspiring so far.
yeah.
but I feel Theo can be a good distraction or possible like allow for some trickery.
I mean, in fairness, he can do some. I mean, in fairness, one of his spells he has access to is Arms of Hadar, which can
Yes.
certainly
do some damage.
every creature in 10 feet of you suddenly gets hit with necrotic damage. Oh, hello, group of goblins.
That's great.
Or dissonant whispers.
Would Sigillian think that this party is well balanced, the one we have at the moment? Or...
It's not necessarily well balanced, but it's a party he could work with.
All right, fair enough.
I mean,
They are very low on healing, but that's no deal with it.
You know what? Go and talk to our dear friend Persephone. She has potions.
no,
she is-
forget Persephone. Brother Thane.
We're using him though to
Yeah,
rely on the lady.
Oh, I
he's
guess.
overseeing the fire lady. Otherwise, I would definitely send him. But we've already attached him. to
Persephone, given you've now set up her workshop, could provide healing potions to each of them.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. As is the contract, she provides some healing.
But yeah, their team they're sending out essentially is a fighter, a sidekick warrior,
yeah.
a monk, a ranger, and a somewhere between a sorcerer and a rogue.
Something. He's something.
Where he's in the formative stage, right? He hasn't decided yet where to put his points.
I mean, it's the same as Arkton is not fully committed.
We're working on that though. We have picked something for him, so this is a good field test.
Ceres has no desire to send Charlotte.
Maybe him joining an individual might be good for him.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Looking for loot.
He also gets gifted as a reward for doing a good job. He gets gifted the grimoire, the Charlatan's cheated grimoire from.
Ah.
Yes. So if he wishes to learn a cantrip that would be helpful for this expedition, then he can. If he can do the check.
He can pull off the check. It might take him a few tries, but he can pull it off.
And I mean, Vickers can aid him in it if he's having a lot of trouble. So.
I'm not sure what cantrip he'd take, but there's options.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
There's options there.
But you know, something will definitely be helpful. Sure.
If nothing else, the group would definitely benefit from him being able to cast light via it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else even has it, right?
And very few of them have dark vision, so
Yeah, let's do light. How about that? Somehow can cheat light into existence.
because Theo's fine. Theo has access to dark vision. I don't think anyone else does. Actually, no. I think do elves get dark vision by default? I think they do, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
all elves have dark vision.
Yeah. So okay, so they've got the elven archer being brought along, and Theo can see in the dark. The rest of them can't.
Good.
All
There
right.
is the amazing technology that is fire.
Yeah, they could use torches. That's true.
Well, I'm not giving them my goggles. Sorry. That's mine.
Fought so hard for this.
I'll figure it out though.
They will.
All right, most excellent.
Very well. I'll put them up the top here as they go on an expedition
Oh,
to
good.
return ETA, hopefully soon.
Yes.
I have one bookkeeping question as well.
Mhm.
I have 2 vials of unidentified poison in my inventory. I don't remember where they're from, but I would like to identify them.
I'm gonna have to look these up later.
Yeah.
So put a PM to me for that, and I'll do that with you later.
All right.
after I look that up.
Actually, what I will do is I'll go back and watch and see where specifically, and I'll tell you.
If you can find out exactly when you pick them up, I'll be able to tell you exactly what they were easier.
Yeah, I'll go do that. Save you the trouble. I mean, it's me asking here, and I forgot, so I'll do that.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I think that resolves all of the pre-business before the Duchess's arrival.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I think so.
I think we did well.
Yep.
Yes. Before we handle the Duchess's arrival, I will just, of course, I showed all of you guys in the Discord earlier, but this is also partly for the viewers' sake and partly for just so as a group we can discuss it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the political map of the realm, at least from your current perspectives.
Yes.
Obviously, much of the map is blanked out because either it's irrelevant or you don't actually have a clue who rules the area right now.
Yeah.
So, but you can see up here. You can see the burnt crowns at the top here for Freyfrost and Highlands where you own it.
Mm-hmm.
Blackened slightly like Aminus has been by the time.
Yes.
It's fine. You'll rise again.
Working on it. That's my whole thing.
This
Collecting
is
broken individuals.
also good for Sheep because I think Sheep needs to also get a good idea of the political situation surrounding the area.
Yeah, that's good.
So to your south, you have, of course, the Duke of Greater Alcend.
We don't like him.
He, of course, is the one that Lady Eliza is supposed to be swearing fealty to in about a month's time.
But she's not.
But of course, she's going to end up swearing fealty to Aminus in front of everyone, and that'll be awkward.
Yeah, it's our big reveal, pretty much.
What'll be beautiful is that it'll also be in front of like his cousin, like the Duke of Alcend's cousin is the Count of Reichhold. So.
And
he does not like the Duke of Alcend, if I recall correctly.
He's still loyal to him, but certainly doesn't like him the most.
Yeah, doesn't like him at all. Especially pissed because the inquisitorial forces trashed his lands on their
Mm.
way to Freyfrost.
Yeah.
So of course, finding out that they were funded by his
By
cousin
his
is
cousin,
a
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty pissy. Yeah.
And then he was the
s-
one who sent money to Mayor Rochelle
Mm-hmm.
to fund that
keep
mercenary
the
group.
Inquisition out of the city.
Yeah.
It really is too bad that we can't, under pretense, invite the great Duke of Alcend to Freyfrost to attend the coronation, and then, invite him to Sorkai as a permanent guest.
Sadly,
Well-
you do not have the political clout to pull it off at the moment.
I mean, I
Um,
could give it a go if you want me to.
I think it's very unlikely.
I could do some
Um,
finagling. You never know.
As you can see with the shields, the Duke personally controls both of these regions, both Great Alcend and Lower Alcend,
Yeah.
since they both got his sigil on it. And of course, he's got, and as you can see by the shared blue crown, Reichhold, of course, is loyal to him.
But we have some hooks in Reichhold, right?
We
You
have a
have-
trade deal.
You have some potential angles you can explore at least.
Oh, we have a trade agreement.
You do. There is a trade agreement going. That's true, but the trade agreement isn't going to beat out someone's vassal.
No, definitely not.
Both.
But I think we got some hooks.
But you have got some trade of lumber going back and forth.
Yeah.
It is the same approach really here. Is to really find out what he wants. What does the Duke of Reichhold want? And is that something we can give to him? Or is he perfectly happy just having his cousin trash his lands whenever he feels like?
Meanwhile, of course, directly to your east, you have the mountains of Varafane, which is probably owned by the Ice Elves. You think?
Hmm.
You don't know. You can't get in there right now. You'll need to work on equipping your scouts with even more cold resistance for that.
That is a later problem.
Yeah. Currently, you don't know who's there. They're not bothering you. Not a big issue. South of that, of course, you have the High Duchy of Ferelda with the marchlands of Dudeville and Ferelda itself, which are being attacked by the orcs, as you can see.
Do we know how that is going? Are they winning or losing?
It's a bit of a stalemate at the moment.
Yeah.
The only problem is it's a stalemate where the orcs are breeding very fast.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
As well as the goblins and other things that they've got under their monstrous banner.
And I do have a direct link to the Viscount of the Marchlands.
Yes, you do have a
sending
direct link diplomatically to communicate.
Well, later use, but it's there.
Yeah. So far, Ferelda is, of course, completely neutral in the matters with what's going on with you guys. They're part of their own independent realm, so don't really affect you.
Yeah.
But they are your neighbours, so it's important to acknowledge.
They were our direct eastern neighbours, so
Yes.
they were like my
These
first
three frosts,
point
right,
of call.
eastern neighbour.
Yeah.
There's of course Shattershield Hall. Most of you except Sheep will remember Bron, of course, who was a mercenary. Of course, his mercenary band came out of there.
Yep.
You have got trade agreements with Shattershield Hall, of course. That's why you've got a dwarven embassy in the city.
Yes. I remember.
I like
quite
Bron.
impressed their delegation with a natural 20. I believe.
Yes, as a result, they also offered some ballistae to the city, which are currently sitting in storage.
Yes, very good. I like the Shadow Shields. I think they are definitely allies.
The dwarves will very rarely make a solid alliance, but they'll certainly. I mean, I say I'm not going to join the enemy, so it's good for you though.
Mm-hmm. And we can always hire Bron back if we need like some hard-hitting elite infantry.
Yes, if you ever need mercenaries, you can always empty the treasury to hire his mercs.
I wonder if we could, if that orc problem becomes bigger, could facilitate a joint effort between Shattershield and Ferelda.
I think.
The Shattershield clan right now is fairly safe. The orcs can't get over the mountains to Shattershield Hall. There's just too much mountain in the way.
Yeah.
I think that is an angle we can definitely push, because even if the orcs can't directly attack the dwarven lands, I mean, the dwarves don't like the orcs one
No.
bit.
They don't.
Yeah, and I mean, if Ferelda falls to the Horde, they're on Shattershield's door. So
Yeah, because if Ferelda gets taken over, then That's literally just the marchlands.
Yeah,
No way.
I might see if I can facilitate some discussions between the two. You know?
It seems like, because now, depending on how it goes with the Duchess, but I am hoping that we impressed her enough in our previous appearances, and I do believe that she would be inclined to ally with us. That's the signals I've been getting, at least. Which means that, Silver Swift, with all of her banner areas, would come to our side.
I mean, yeah, everything under the pink, all the pink crowns are loyal to the Duchess.
Yeah.
So she would come over to us. Then, if this can happen before the big reveal at the coronation of Freyfrost, then suddenly the Duke of Alcen can't exactly invade right away, right? Because now, we have the backing of Silver Swift, and
She's rich and she has a lot of land.
yes,
And she's
and
quite liked by the crown. Well,
Yeah,
not
and-
liked, needed.
Yeah, she is a necessary asset for the crown because she controls so much naval power.
Yeah.
and we have Freyfrost and we have Sorkai. So with that, we might be on like equal footing, like enough power to stop Alcen from just sending everything to beat us down.
They would have definitely a claim on Freyfrost.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, but we are backing Freyfrost, independence obviously from them, and Silver Swift would go with us, so he can't really do much. And then we can maybe work on Rycole a little bit, see if we can loosen that. But I do think Ferelda would be our next target, because I don't think we can go, since we are probably on fairly equal term with Alcend. I don't necessarily want a war with them right away either, because that would just, potentially destroy us and them. And
Especially given the Duke has a significant advantage on the magical front versus you.
yes, although the Duchess
Now.
of Silver Swift seems pretty powerful magically as well, at least what she has shown us so far.
He's been gathering all of the magic users from his duchy, like anyone that seems to pop up. He sort of gathers them.
Anywhere under the blue crowns from Freyfrost, like all of it's just been concentrated.
Yeah, he's a
I
patron of the
think,
arts.
an interesting path we could take is somehow solving the issues that the Duchy of Ferelda are currently finding with, their leadership. But also, if we can somehow push back the Orc Horde and have Ferelda kind of reclaim that, then we end up having Alcen basically having fronts on all sides. So
because eventually that's true. Because if Ferelda controlled the Orc territory again, now suddenly, now Lower Alcen is also threatened by someone.
Yeah,
I think
there's a lot of pressure.
I think I could convince the Viscount to try and make I think he would easily accept a court appearance from us, but I reckon we could probably swing a invitation to the actual High Duchy through him.
We have Pizarra as like a sway here.
If you need an audience, Mazzara could probably arrange an audience.
Yeah, because with Rycole tentatively on our side, Silver Swift allied with us, that is enough to hold Alcend at bay for the time being, and we can head into Ferelda to see if we can help out with this orc problem. Because I agree, if we can have Ferelda on our side, then Alcend seems to be pretty much surrounded, and there's no help coming for Alcend. Like all of the Empire's attention is down south.
Yeah.
So they are suddenly completely surrounded by our troops and our influence, and at that point they might just be like, he is the king actually. He is actually the real king. So we should just join. So they might just bend the knee at that point.
I think if we are going to go to Ferelda, I think I'd like to go to Shadowshield Hall first to see if we could arrange some loose agreement that we can take to the High Duke and say, hey, we've been speaking to the dwarfs. We could have a potential alliance going on to beat back that horde, but it hinges on a few things.
Sheep, you here?
I am, yeah.
Of course, from your personal experience, because you've had experience with the orcs before.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you were fighting from the Red Rock Valley side. This way, that was your original front you were fighting.
Hmm.
For a long, long time too.
How long?
A while.
Okay.
Many
Like-
years.
All right.
So did you
Honest
fight
job.
like in a company in alliance with the land there, like Red Rock Valley? Is that the Kingdom of Meravain's territory?
It is, yes.
It is, yeah.
So you were working for them?
Yes.
Okay.
That is literally where I'm from. And I've not made a secret of that.
Yes, I'm just very forgetful. Well, what do you think their intentions would be if we took out the orcs? Would they want to reclaim the land, or do they just wish the orc court to be gone?
What would I think, Doug?
I think largely that since they've always been on fairly good relations with Ferelda, you imagine they would probably be satisfied just returning the land to Ferelda and just getting the damn orcs off the doorstep.
Well, then perhaps, Torn, I don't know how much sway you have, but if we can organize a multi-front attack on the orcs, then they will have very little resistance, I feel.
I can tell you I have less than no sway in my old home.
What you do have, of course, is you do know who runs, such as the border keeps around there. So if nothing else, if while you're in the Horde territory, you might be able to use that to your advantage.
All right.
I would rather not get into any contact with them at all if it can't be avoided.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Yeah, Vic has announced that, but he's not going to press. That feels like a sensitive subject.
It's not sensitive. It is one well, it is sensitive, but it's not secret by any means. I left and not. I left without being allowed to leave.
So he's a deserter.
Technically true.
From, of course, from York, for you, Sheep. Do you have any questions about the map that stand out to you? Because that you haven't also seen very much that either.
I think I understand the basics of what's going on here. Like, not every area. I don't know what the experience of the others with Chattershield Hall is, for example. But if they are friends of them, then they are my friends too.
When we initially had to sequester ourselves when Freyfrost was basically taken over by the Inquisition, we holed up in a mine to the north, which was currently being defended by
mercenaries from
Shadowshield Hall, and they basically were pretty nice to us and helped us out.
They made a good chunk of your armed forces, even though they cost a fortune to hire.
Yeah, we hired them in taking back Freyfrost, and they proved very helpful. But they are a mercenary group. They're not official ally of us or anything, and so
they are very loyal mercenaries. Once they've signed the contract, they generally, they'll stick with it till the war ends. But
yeah, they're trustworthy folk. So
I like that, professionals.
Yep,
They
I
get a
think Torin
contract,
would
they
actually
do the
like them a
work.
lot. Yeah, very
But
much
yeah,
by
regarding the Kingdom of Meribin, Torin doesn't want anything to do with them at all.
That is
Ideally, only after he has proven to himself that he's actually good at his job, and no, it's not necessarily a sensitive subject, but he was just not feeling like he was given the authority and the promotions that he deserved.
Right.
So now he's out here proving to himself mostly that he does in fact deserve a high position and promotions and authority.
How does he feel when he hears the group discussing about maybe getting themselves involved in Ferelda's war?
I mean, if he's told to use his knowledge for the benefit of the group in general, as long as it doesn't involve sharing like potential like strategies or secrets that would not only make him a deserter, but basically like an informant as well. He might disagree with that, but
If it's just,
other than
if it's just
that-
information on beating up orcs, is it a problem?
yeah, beating up orcs, I mean, he has expertise that is all his. That is no state secret how to fight orc.
Well, in Vicus's eyes, regardless of the circumstance, I think he feels Torrens' stance is quite valid. He was mostly just probing for potential advantages, but again, the orc horde can be beaten back without their help and without their interaction. So. But
Besides,
yeah,
if it's basically like a complete assault from every side you're planning, you don't need him to use his connections to anyway. You can just basically somehow communicate to the kingdom down there that all the other sides are suddenly going to attack much more aggressively. Then they will probably figure out that it is in their strategic best interest to also attack at the same time.
yeah, we can just have
It's
it
not
come
like you
from.
need to deceive them into doing that.
No, I agree. We can just have it come from Ferelda, considering that they have decent relations. So it doesn't even necessarily have to come from us. We don't have to be a public presence on their side. Then they don't even need to know it's from us. But we can side with Ferelda and use our forces on their side to help them. And yeah, I agree. I mean, we can use them to our advantage without them even knowing that we are. By just making them aware of the fact and using their interests to our benefit, as you said.
Yeah, so far Mirabin's been rather passive on like they've been keeping the orcs out, but they haven't really done they haven't pushed that hard, and they've tried a little bit, but
it's definitely a long-term plan. But if we do somehow succeed at that, then we have the Duke of Alcend in a pretty precarious position of just power balance. So he's unlikely to try anything, which is where we want to keep him.
Moreover, the orcs are a ticking time bomb. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they need to be dealt with. Otherwise, we might even lose Ferelda, given how much they're pressing into it, and given how the leadership of Ferelda is a bit wishy-washy these days.
Imagine this entire pink area just being the green horde.
That's not great.
It's not a vibe.
I don't know if it's a conflict that has like gone on for years, like a decade or something. I don't know if we have a good, fast solution to solve it, because to me that sounds very entrenched, but I think it is worth looking into to see if there's anything we can do.
It's been going on for some time, many years at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it feels very much like a status quo. Like Ferelda are defending what they have at a minimum, and Lower Alcend are also just defending their territory. And then, Kingdom of Meridian are actually actively fighting them. So.
Most of the realms have essentially gone with, let's try to contain the orcs.
Yeah.
They've failed to try and take it back, so they've just said, let's contain it. But the problem with contain is orcs breed. Really
it's not sustainable. But if we provide the tipping point to a more aggressive campaign, we might be able to get the snowball kind of running.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of resources you get access to, it could be an option.
Yeah, if the alliance with the duchy, because this is like plans for after the coronation. I feel
yes. It would be way after the coronation.
Yeah, we might hopefully have the duchess on our side for some possible resources. I am very reluctant to even touch the Hornet's Nest that is the Council of the Silvery Spire. I don't think high elves are a good nest to poke at the moment. I think they should just be as they are, if they are even high elves up there. I don't know.
I think we would.
They should just stay there. Yeah, they should just stay there and do what they've been doing for the past 100 years, I guess.
I agree. We should not touch that unless we have to.
Unless they approach us, or we learn information that means we have to. So
Yes.
But you don't even know you don't even know what other territory they have beyond this because it's all fog of war. So
yeah. Also, as far as the Free Republic of Arletia, we have this merchant now that has a warehouse there, and so if we set up this import export, we have some trading pressure. So we might be able to somehow get some sort of audience with whoever.
but you have a trade route basically running up now to your territory.
Yep.
It's a long trade route though.
I mean, if we get the dock up and running, we could have a naval trade.
If you had a port up and running, then that would certainly encourage possible trade that way.
Yeah, it'd also be easier to protect given that it runs through like the sea that is controlled by the Duchess. So
Yeah.
Nothing passed through these waters without the Duchess' assent, but
yeah,
equally, very few things get sunk there without her assent.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine since probably is going to get a cut of it anyway. So
I imagine there's probably tariffs for going through her waters.
Moreover, many virtue vessels might end up taking the route of stop at Silver Swift and then make clear it.
Yeah.
Declare your goods.
Unless you want to be a pirate, in which case she has a certain captain who wants to blow you out the water. Alternatively, you can be a Sahagan. They'll also blow you out the water. Either. Not Sahagan.
Yeah, I think we've got a good grasp of the situation now.
Yes. I hope this kind of new formatting on the map makes sense to everyone.
Yeah, I like it. It makes it very clear.
Trying to show different alliances in the different realms.
That's good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Because we not necessarily had much of a political map, but as we're getting very close now to entering into the next chapter, where that's going to start mattering a lot more.
Yeah.
But also exciting because I have no idea what political situation we're going into then yet.
Yay.
Are we going into a war or not? Who knows?
No one knows anything. Let's find out.
Let's hope not.
I mean, because you could end up with a war with Alcent. It's possible.
It's possible. I just hope to avoid it.
Get him, boys. Charge.
How many magic missiles can all your apprentices fire?
I have one, so fire a little bit.
A few.
We can. Yeah, we'll see. I think we just need to probe the Duchess a little bit, find out exactly what she wants, because I think we have impressed her well enough.
You've opened the door, but what's needed now is to discuss terms.
Yes, and her potential dragon status, which seems
We're investigating.
Yeah.
Maybe dragon.
Oh right, I didn't actually.
Type of dragon.
I guess Vicus will explain because it kind of came out in conversation now. Vicus has been investigating her because he has suspicions that she is in fact a dragon, or at the very least acting on behalf of one.
How did you arrive at that conclusion?
A lot of factors. I talk with Dark a lot about my reasoning, so it's not just out of the blue. I have a thing I wrote, but I can't remember half of it, so I'll have to look in that. But we've at least determined that it is, if so, that it would be a metallic dragon, and Vicus's predictions are slightly unreliable, but he believes that she is either a brass dragon or acting on behalf of one.
It fits her MO a lot. It explains a lot of her magical powers and her vast wealth. It explains her actions, like a brass dragon fits very well with the way she's acting.
They also have a lot of affinity for coastal areas, given location and climate. It fits a lot. Also, on the issue of markets, she's kind of been flooding the black market with a lot of dragon scales. Mainly because, well, I guess he'll say this. I think, as far as I remember, the spy master of the Duke of Alcen has been buying them up a lot lately. Although for what purpose, I don't know.
That does appear to be the case, yes.
Yeah. I had other reasons. Halldamir can back me up. I had valid thoughts
We
about
had
this.
valid thoughts. It's true. We had a decent
I
conversation
you-
about it.
Say a brass dragon explains her something coast, but brass dragons are desert dragons.
It might be copper we were talking about. Also.
Maybe I meant copper. I need to look at them again.
Bronze are the aquatic ones.
Oh, bronze even.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
bronze.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it was
The-
bronze, not brass. I'm dumb. Yeah, it was it's the coastal one.
It was one of them. Yeah, it was one of the, not the gold or the silver. It was one of the ones that's a bit more rare.
One of the ones that you don't care about usually.
Yeah, you don't tend to think about.
It's also the fact that in her interactions with her duchy itself, she doesn't seem to have the like paladin-like zeal that a silver has, but she does have a strong sense of justice. Like she's thrown out nobles who have been greedy and taken advantage of their subjects.
Yep.
And bronze dragons are very much about justice, and not very happy about cruelty. So.
And if I remember, bronze dragons are quite mercantile in their efforts as well.
Yeah. But yeah. Sorry. Thanks for correcting me. I meant bronze, because of the coastal region.
Always trust the dragon expert that is sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, bronze dragon. That was the correct deduction.
I haven't decided how I feel about dragons yet. I should rephrase that.
What
I
you
haven't
mean?
decided. I haven't decided how Torin would
I
feel
was
about
gonna
dragons
say,
yet.
sheep.
I was
We all know
gonna
how
say,
you
Sheep,
feel.
we know how you feel about dragons. That's a well-established lore fact about you.
Yeah, so far the group has encountered exactly 0 dragons to their knowledge.
We have encountered a statue of a dragon.
You've encountered an animated statue shaped like a dragon. That's true.
Of a
but yeah,
sapphire dragon?
Sapphire dragon,
I think it was.
or had sapphire like elements, but we didn't know if the dragon.
You found a dragon with sapphire eyes.
Yeah.
A dragon
Yeah.
statue with sapphire eyes. That was the thing.
But yeah, she's mercantile. She's coastal. She has a strong sense of justice. She enjoys like interacting with people. That's certainly part of what she does. And a lot of that stuff seems to, and the dragon scale trade that she's doing, all of that seems to at least make it quite possible that she might be a bronze dragon in polymorphed form. It would explain her vast riches, and it would also explain her incredible magical talents that we've seen.
There's also she seemed to have a fairly decent disregard for the mundane magical that we would determine to be valuable. Like she didn't really care much for giving away like magical weapons, for example, as contests. It very much at the time seemed just like she was flaunting her wealth, but I think it's more that conceptually as a dragon, there are things that are more valuable to her than that, and doesn't really feel much issue in giving them away.
I like that distinction. It's not that she's intentionally showing off, it's that she has no concept of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And she loves like parties and festivals and stuff like that, and that's what bronze dragons like.
Well, that's brass dragons.
No, it's bronze.
No, bronze like are
Bronze, yeah.
social. They're really pretty social.
No, that's brass dragons are the social ones. Bronze are very lawful.
No, I'm literally looking at
Yeah.
bronze right now.
I-
Yeah. The brass ones are the storytellers, I think.
Oh, I guess yeah, that's the distinction. Okay.
They like to listen to stories, so they can't like invite guests or like lightly kidnap people just because they want to talk to them in their lairs for a couple of years.
Despite all this discussion, Vickers has never actually confirmed this. This could be completely all wrong. But he has a pretty strong like.
There is plenty of speculation.
Yeah, plenty of speculation that is decently founded, but it's never confirmed. So the information has been given to Aminus, and he can use it as he wishes during negotiation if he wants to.
Hello, are you in fact a dragon?
I will see if I have a spell to sense dragon.
I think we were discussing ways of figuring out if she was a dragon.
I mean, the easiest way is true sight, but I don't think that's a thing you can just get.
Can you use your size up the enemy and and discover that she's like CR18 or something? Be like,
mean,
oh my god.
Technically,
Right?
I can decide. I can figure out whether someone has more con than I do,
Yeah.
which
Is a lot. Yeah, but would it be the con of her
Hmm.
polymorph form, which would be
Well,
less?
I guess it would
It's the
be.
same stats, I think, right?
Is it? No, right? It's only mental.
I mean,
impact.
the polymorph rules are not that detailed.
Normal polymorph spell is you keep your mental but take on physical stats. I don't know what true polymorph does. Honestly,
Well, dragons have the same thing basically. This is getting very metagamey, but yeah, I could of course see if she's higher level than Torin, but she would be either way, so that doesn't help either.
She might be.
Because you know, in fact, she's a higher level based on the kind of magic she was pumping out.
yeah. Halldamir and I have talked about maybe developing a pseudo ward similar to what she did at the party that like temporarily disrupted any magical effects. Which if
No,
she
and-
was,
I dabbled more
It's-
towards the idea of instead of disrupting, identifying.
yeah,
think
like
that
detect
would
magic
be-
or something.
Yeah,
Better.
like a triggered detect magic on someone.
Because
I
if there's
didn't mean to
any,
interrupt, but
go ahead.
in retrospect, maybe pissing off the potential dragon by revealing the fact that she is a dragon when she doesn't want to be revealed.
Yep.
Maybe you just take her word.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
maybe-
we've
just
discussed that at
tackle that
length.
much.
Yeah,
That's-
we
That's why
that
I
was
moved
a lot
towards
of
the
our discussion.
detecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I moved towards the detecting of any magics rather than removing any
forcefully,
magics.
yeah, removing. That was
I
just the
mean-
initial idea I presented, but we moved towards.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to plan just to ask her.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Like, are you a
I've
dragon?
I've just tried to explain to Sheep what we discussed about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the.
Because
where
I
we're
do
at.
think on that direct question, she might just be, yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
But what if she isn't actually a dragon and just lies?
Well,
Well, then I have
Would she
I
lie
have
though?
a ring to tell me if she is lying, or help
I
me
have
tell if she's lying.
I have a spell of truth telling as well. I suppose if we really get suspicious.
I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like being frank with her is a lot better than having the suspicion and not confirming it.
She seems to appreciate directness,
And she is sizing up your character.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and part of that would be to also look
to
through her
bluntly
disguise.
ask, yeah, just to like
be like,
bluntly see it as it
Hey,
is.
because you might be impressed to be like, oh, they figured it out. We'll see.
Or she might be, no, you're
It's like,
weird.
What are you saying, you weird man? I am leaving forever.
I don't think she'd do that.
She might just find it amusing in that case.
Yeah, I was gonna say she'd probably just find it funny if she, regardless.
But we also guessed that was one of the reasons she was somewhat doting on Torin because he's a dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we don't know about your history or anything. But she'd like you a lot.
Yeah, she seemed to like Torin a lot.
I mean, regardless of her being a dragon or not, someone who has a sense of justice strong enough to even kick out the privileged when they do something wrong is absolutely something that Torin can appreciate.
Oh yeah, regardless of
Yeah,
who
she's
she
cool.
actually is, she's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's a valuable ally regardless if she's a dragon or not. But
I'm not like
just-
suspicious of her because of
But
it.
she,
I'm
she
just
would be a
like,
more valuable dragon if she a more
yeah, of course.
a more valuable
Yes.
ally if she were a dragon.
Of course.
yeah, exactly. Which is why
And-
it's nice
and,
to know.
And since the like option has been raised, I have been like, yeah, no, she might indeed be a dragon. There's seems to be a lot of things pointing that direction at least.
Just there's a lot of evidence and also circumstantial evidence that feels like just a coincidence, but I feel it's not as well.
There's no coincidence.
Like Charlotte reading a book about dragon burial sites, and I'm just like, okay.
There's a lot of dragon literature here in the yes,
Maybe she just likes them.
maybe.
No,
Maybe
all
it's
this evidence completely circumstantial.
But
Yeah,
but
completely.
those scales are coming from somewhere.
Well, I think Vic has confirmed
The
that none of a bronze dragon scale was among the ones she was flooding the market with. I
Does she
think.
have like any prison? Does she have a dragon prison?
Or no, sorry, I'm incorrect. It was that there was just a lot of different ones. It
Mm.
wasn't
Okay.
just a singular color.
Maybe she has a
So
collection.
You
yeah.
think she just tracks down dragon burial sites?
no, she was
Roll.
importing them from somewhere else. She had a trade deal, I believe. Dark,
Yeah.
right?
She
And-
did, yes, with some place overseas.
yeah, so she's
Mm.
importing them from them and then flooding the black market with them because I assume she's using them to either trace or keep an eye on the spy master of Duke of Alcen. So
I think her idea was to keep an eye on Duke of Alcend and see at what quantity he is doing shit with and extrapolate from
yeah.
there.
All right, I found a picture of a true form. Are you ready for this?
Well,
okay.
it's gonna be good.
I don't think I am.
Hopefully this link works.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Can I delete this? Yeah.
Nope. What? That was a great picture.
I like to go to sleep later. You can post
What?
in the morning.
No, but
Really,
Valky has too much power in this
Yeah,
server.
if that image remains up, Valkyrie will just.
I'm sad I
I'm
didn't get
not
you to
thinking
comment
about
that.
it.
Sarah, look,
Exactly.
it
How
has the official Wizards of the Coast. Like this is an official picture.
it's so distracting.
It's great. Oh,
Uh,
Gesh's uncle in the photo.
yeah. This is Gesh's like sister or something.
Oh my God.
No, Gesh's potential betrothed.
Oh yeah, the
Suitor.
betrothed.
And you
yes,
see
yes.
that's his
Oh, yeah.
father chasing after her saying,
I
no,
remember that.
please.
wait, but his father was much larger. I
No, but this is
remember.
her father.
No.
Oh, okay.
And she's like,
No?
Gesh is a bad apple. Like you shouldn't marry him. And she's like, whatever, he's cool.
Whenever he has money.
Yeah.
Do you know where he
No,
came from?
He had more money than Gesh did.
He came out of the abyss, you know? Like, come on.
I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
I
There
feel
we
like
go.
I feel like at the level that Gesh came out of, he could make anyone believe anything.
Delete all you want, Valky's too late now.
Ah,
That's
Ah.
okay. I was only acting in mock disgust. It's quite
copyright Wizards of the Coast. My God.
There we have it.
This is the group's theory, everyone.
Yeah.
Group's theory.
This is what I
No,
think is
it's-
visiting them.
Well, it's a theory that if it's wrong, then you can blame me. How about that?
I like it though. It's a good theory.
I like it too. I was totally into it.
I'm totally on board with this theory.
All right.
I think I got Makara into helping me do like an identify, like magic-y thing.
Yeah, because we don't want to insult her, but we want to just get some info.
I just don't
on-
think we got around
I-
to doing much
I
with it.
just
No, we
want to know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah. there you
Yeah.
go.
Because dealing with dragons is dangerous.
Mm.
Even if they're
Uh,
kind of nice.
Well, I think from her perspective, you trying to find out exactly who you're dealing with is probably something she would like in a ruler. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what she's bringing with her as well that I'm very excited about?
A boat?
The
Asinian?
captain-
No. A awakened tortoise.
Oh yeah.
What? Why?
She's
Wait,
bringing
so you
it.
have you're gonna have a
He's
familiar
bringing
and an
it.
awakened tortoise.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Look
my
at-
little
look at Bacon.
apprentice. He's been awakened.
How? No, excuse me. The tortoise cannot do somatic components. It has no fingers.
He's been awakened. I don't know
Yes,
what you
but that
want.
doesn't mean it can do any magic.
There's verbal spells.
Healing word. That's only can needs to be
I
devout
don't know.
tortoise.
I'm pretty sure there's a there's
Vicious
some-
mockery tortoise.
Yeah,
Oh god.
it's
I mean, you
specifically
could also get meta magic, right?
meta magic. Yeah, absolutely. I
What's
think
his
there's
movement speed in combat?
He
I don't know.
floats, so
fucking tortoises.
he flies.
How does he float and fly?
Magic.
What magic? He
Yes.
can't cast that spell. He
I-
can't cast fly.
I'm going to confirm the tortoise does not know the fly spell.
He has boots of levitation.
Yes.
That's fine.
He has boots of
Good
levitation.
interpretation. No, what? No,
Hey,
right. So the plan is we're gonna
Creatures gotta
give
choose
him.
items.
We're gonna give him Gunner, right? And then Persephone is going to make a cannon,
Uh-huh.
and strap it to him, and he's
It's
gonna
not
be
that
an
big!
eldritch cannon.
Alright, like alright.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like a
it-
scenery piece.
It's just Blastoise. Like, what are you
He's
doing?
Blastoise. Yeah.
It's not that big right now.
I mean, small
I mean,
cannon.
with enlarge, reduce. I mean,
There we go. He's just a
permanency
small
on
cannon.
enlarge.
Poor
Permanently
tortoise.
enlarged, awakened water gun tortoise.
This is like Frankensteinian. Like this is an abomination.
Persephone builds an aqua
Hey,
cannon. I
The
mean,
first thing he's gonna say is like, "Kill me."
You know what's the funniest thing
Should not
about this
exist.
whole thing? Is
What?
that the tortoise is smarter than Aminus.
Wow.
I have to note, it's also technically smarter than your warden.
It's true. He's smarter than half the party.
That doesn't matter. He still can't do any spells. He has no fingers.
He can't do spells.
He
There's
has
loads of verbal
fingers.
No.
spells. What are you talking about?
What verb?
There's loads of verbal only spells.
command is a verbal spell.
How will he able to turn a book to learn a spell? He has no hands.
I said Vicious Mockery, though, is still on the list.
He could use his teeth. He's not like a
Okay.
vegetable.
What's his component pouch? How can he operate component pouch or an implement if he has no hands?
It's around his neck.
You strap the implement to his back.
He
Mm,
uses a focus. He doesn't need a component
just needs a
pouch.
So you
Focus,
know,
yeah.
Halldamir, intelligence might be necessary to cast spells, but wisdom is necessary to realize that a tortoise is probably not going to make a good sorcerer.
Exactly.
No, he won't make
Thank
a
you,
good
Shiv.
sorcerer. He'll make an excellent wizard.
Oh my god.
in my defense, I totally have the idea of just using him to embarrass nobles that get uppity, because he'll be smarter than them.
The
Poor
royal turtle.
tortoise. He's just a spectacle in your court.
No,
He'll be
he's a
wonderful.
treasured
He's a-
treasured member.
he's a
Stop
treasured
playing
member.
God, Halldamir.
He's-
What has science
That-
done?
That's how Owlbear happened.
Yes,
Do-
exactly.
Jonas, do you want a awakened tortoise to curb the chaotic urges of Halldamir, or do you want him to rip a hole in reality?
Oh,
What's your choice
sure.
there?
Have your exactly. We had the owlbear. Now we have the Sork Torque. Like that's
Stork
the,
Torque.
Yeah, that's the new monster. The Sork
Wow,
Torque.
the new build on
Yeah.
is great.
But yes,
Science went too far. Look at what we have now.
yes, next time when we pick up, the Duchess will arrive. We will hold court with her, and you will get to discuss your terms here on the map of exactly what she might want, and like trade wise with you, what she might want alliance wise with you, etc.
Okay,
All right.
As well as you'll get the new court member of La Tortoise.
great.
Oh, here you
I
go. All he
refuse
needs,
him on the court.
all he needs is telekinetic feet, and he'll have Mage Hand as a cantrip.
He will not be on the court.
Hmm
We may also find out if I am the smartest spy master alive, or I have a laughing stock.
Have you been outsmarted?
Bit of a proof of concept here for you, for sure.
Oh no, I feel.
Are you smarter than a tortoise?
I don't know. What's the intelligence?
10.
I'm 14. so-
Awakened is it gives
Base
them
it's
base
10.
10. Yeah, so it might get smarter, honestly.
How?
You can train smartness.
Uh,
We've gone over
Oh.
this.
Studying.
Not for Aminus, sorry.
Yeah, no, we've gone over this. Raising stats is it's a thing.
It's an ingrained stubbornness to not learn.
Yeah, we'll see though if really is she a dragon, if you can find out or not.
Yeah.
Or have you just embarrassed yourself in front as spy master in front of everyone?
I mean, either way, I think it's funny, role playing wise. So
Yeah, absolutely hilarious.
It occurs to me that in this campaign, where like a reasonably powerful potential political ally in this political world, having the stereotypical bard who seduces dragons would be incredibly useful. When in our games, it's a huge joke.
Yeah,
we do
yeah.
have Rodrigo. I don't know how
Yeah,
his
we do.
how
Rodrigo
his
seduced the
inclinations are
dragon.
towards dragons, but I mean, let's see. I guess.
You don't need to be a bard to seduce a dragon.
True.
You could be a very charismatic sorcerer.
I see.
I'm just
Uh-huh.
noting the
What do we
realm
have?
does not currently have a queen.
It's true.
Oh.
Let's see if the Duchess is a few drinks away from a lesbian adventure. Then I guess.
I mean, I'm up for it. I'll
What?
become.
I'm
I'm
I'll
looking
become a
forward to the next
duchess.
session. I'll see.
Yes.
I'll become a duchess to a duchess. I don't mind.
Lady,
Yeah,
Cyrus.
lady.
I'm just gonna look over. It's like I've never seen you in that tight of a bodice before. What's going on here?
Oh, you wait, king boy.
Oh man, why did I bring this up?
You brought this upon yourself, Chief. I feel.
I did. It's true. But yeah, it is getting quite late.
There's a reason I'm stopping here. I don't want to push us any further because we
Yeah,
won't get anything
yeah.
done. Everyone's going to be too tired.
I'm exhausted.
Funny.
Ugh.
But I think this went well. We all of you got to get a better look at your city. You got to speak to various people and kind of start getting some things established. And we all got to discuss the political map and kind of set ourselves up so everyone's on a playing field for next week's discussion.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Should be
Next
next week.
week we won't have Halldamir, right? Is it next week we won't have you, Halldamir?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
You
Next
said the 11th?
Yeah, this is
10th. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so I
after
won't
it's
be-
after midnight. Sorry, yeah. So it's the
Yeah,
10th,
I won't be
right?
here next week because I have to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to a work
Ooh.
conference in London. Because they're
Oh,
making
we'll,
us go to a work conference on a Saturday.
That's really weird. I don't think they can do that legally, right?
I mean, it's not mandatory, but like my boss basically said you should go.
Not
will
mandatory
look
officially, but it is.
Yeah.
I hope you get a day off as compensation.
You
later.
do, yeah. They give you a holiday allocation basically,
It's
so
nice. At
you
least.
can get a day back for your troubles, and they pay for the tickets retrospectively.
Oh, that's
Like they
good.
pay you
Oh,
back
okay.
the money you spent.
So we'll be doing the negotiations then without you, pretty much.
I mean,
Or do we skip
I
next?
Do you want to
guess
be present?
I would
I
like
mean,
to be present, but yeah.
As it stands, like technically speaking, she is your ambassador, so it would make sense to have it here. But
It's true.
I mean,
it's up to the group as a whole.
I'm fine with waiting. I mean, I was fine with waiting today as well for Isa, but Isa said go. So if you want to be there, Halldamir, I'm perfectly fine with that. We can skip a week.
I would like to be there, but I'm not going to stop you guys from playing.
Well, my vote is I'm fine with either. I'll
Your
let
vote
everyone
is
else.
No vote.
My vote is no preference.